No mic.
All right. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live now. After the panel got together and we got to get to know one another real quick, set our highs and all that. I just want to start off with myself. I'm Byron Miller. This podcast has no name yet. I haven't locked in what I want to call it yet. Get back to you on a formal intro. And I'll just have my panel introduce themselves. Ladies first.
Hey y'all, I'm Celine Brewer, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. Well, Frisco, and I'm just here to do what I do.
Next, it's disrespectful. I don't know if you're in the same corner on your own screen. So, hey, just talk it over. What are your thoughts?
I'll go next. So, hey everybody, how y'all doing? Byron, appreciate you for inviting me in. My name is Keon Johnson. I go by KJ. Originally from Detroit, Michigan. Currently making money in DC. Just really happy to be on here with like-minded ladies and gentlemen, just to talk about issues that impact us.
And now I guess it's on to me. My name's Alan Franklin. I'm from Los Angeles, but I've lived all over. So now I'm back in Los Angeles. I'm just happy to be on board and just find out what everybody's thinking and, just starting a dialogue, because I really think that's like the best thing we could do to, I guess I can't say fix the situation, but just to move it forward. So I just, hopefully this gets out, more people are doing the right things, and it gets better for everyone.
Y'all sounded better than mine.
No, but because we were able to learn from you, so you made us better.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. But I guess just to get this thing going. So our first topic is the protests and the rioting. And I guess I just want to start it with saying the main reason we're here today is because unfortunately George Floyd lost his life 3 days ago, correct? 3 days ago?
3 days.
Three. Or is it 2?
I want to say 2.
I thought it was it Monday? Wow.
Yeah, I want to say it was 3 days ago.
So it was on Thursday? Yeah, today is Saturday. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 days. 3 days ago. Yeah, because it was at some point. Yeah, some point on Thursday, stuff just went
haywire.
Right.
Yeah, the May 25th.
Okay. So I guess with that said, starter question: do you guys find with protests, protesting is justified? How do you guys feel about the rioting though? Because no one's going to argue whether protesting is justified or not. How do you guys feel about the rioting in and of itself?
I think rioting, honestly, pointless to a certain degree. Unfortunately, because I think when people riot and loot, it's not directed towards anything, so there's no point. And if you look at the grander scale of things, it's how's looting target gonna get a message across? Because it was actually, even though I didn't agree with it, when they actually rioted the police station in Minneapolis and burned it down, or not burned it, set a fire, and they caused them to evacuate, I thought that was, I guess, an appropriate riot, because it was an appropriate response. It's the police force, they're doing something bad over and over again, nothing's being done, so now we're taking the fight to your door. So even though I guess I don't agree with rioting, that one, I could almost say it's justified and it makes sense. But going on there, like in San Jose, they're on the freeway, and I'm not sure how true it is, but they're on the freeway, stopping traffic, breaking people's cars. Like that made no sense. So I think depending on how, unfortunately, I think there needs to be riots to show that people are serious, but I feel like they need to be more directed more than anything else, because when they're not directed, it just makes everybody involved look stupid.
All right.
So I guess I'll jump in real quick. So really quickly, I'm sure like this has been said 10,000 times, but obviously everybody knows a quote by Martin Luther King, that says, and I must say tonight that a riot is the language of the unheard. And what is it that America's failed to hear? So he says a quote and then he asks a question, and this is from obviously the civil rights movement. So I feel that the riot, and any riot, not just, this one, but we can go back to Ferguson, we can go back civil rights, however far back you want to go, Haitian Revolution, and look at any of those riots and say, okay, they were unnecessary. But we're failing to ask, why are these riots happening? And people are so focusing on the riot and the looting, which the looting aspect I disagree with vehemently. I don't think that looting solves anything. I feel like it's really a way for lazy people or people with misaligned interests from protesting try to come up on things that they would ordinarily pay for. So I'll start with that. But as far as rioting goes as an act, it's really the language of the unheard. And us in the Black community, we're tired of being unheard. But going to Alan's point, we have to riot with a purpose. We have to protest with a purpose. I've been asking in my different groups today, okay, after we riot, after you burn the police station, after you riot the Target, or loot and burn down the Target, after you loot and burn down the AutoZone, what's next? What's the next step? Do we have, people that are actively negotiating with our legislators, our state assemblymen and women? Do we have people working with the mayors of these different cities where these crimes happen? Or are we putting forth committees or subcommittees or I'm confusing myself with the term, enforcement and oversight people to look at these police crimes outside of the actual police jurisdiction, and the police officers themselves and internal affairs to say, hey, you're going to do your investigation, but we're going to do ours as a non-biased force, and we're going to compare notes to see, was this wrong? Was this a justifiable use of force, or was this murder? Not speaking specifically to George Floyd, but just in any situation. And because those things have not happened yet, you have riots, but also with those riots, you got to come back and say, okay, we're going to riot and we're going to burn down a police station. But in doing so with that riot, we want to speak to the police chief because we have a dedicated, group of people in this community or this group of people to say, hey, these are our demands. This is what we want to hear. If you're willing to agree with it, cool, we'll go home. If not, like Alan said, we're going to bring it to your front door.
Okay. Well, I definitely disagree with how they're handling it as far as how they're handling the riot, because I do not feel as if they are doing it with a purpose, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like KJ said, or Alan said, doing it for a purpose makes the riot worth it versus just doing it just to do it because everybody else is doing it. Mm-hmm. To me, it's like, if I let my kids run around this house and cut up because they're angry and tear things down and break vases and throw everything everywhere because they're angry and let them do it, at one point I'm going to have to stop them. I'm not going to allow them to continue to keep destroying my house. My point is, yes, riot, yes, go ahead and do what you want to do. I'm not in control of anyone. Everybody in control of their own self. But the point is, if you're not doing it for a purpose, it does not matter, because the day that you walk away from this riot, or the moment that you walk away from this riot, the moment that you go home, the moment that you sit back down and get back into your regular life, are you actually going to do something after this? Or are you just going to go back into your regular schedule and forget it within the next 2 weeks?
True.
I sit here and I reflect on things that I have done in the past, as far as when I have reacted in a way that was irrational at that time. It did not get me anywhere, versus I either stood still or it took me 10 steps backwards. it did not advance me forward to where to make my point or where I wanted to go, because I did not do it with purpose. I did it out of anger. I did it out of emotion. So with that being said, I just don't think that people are actually going out there and communicating with the people that they actually need to talk to while they're out there. To me, it's just happening, and no one is actually going to talk to anyone that they need to. Like in Little Rock right now, there are people protesting and stuff at the Capitol. What's today?
Saturday.
So no one's there.
Who is at the Capitol?
Yeah, I do agree with that also. But it also goes to like kind of what we're saying too. I guess if they're doing it without a purpose and kind of like the date that they chose as well, it lets people hijack the point. And sometimes I feel that the protests and riots, they undermine the actual issues. But I mean, if you go, because even Fox and CNN, they're both saying that, you know, Trump's blaming one group, Minnesota officials are blaming a different group of actually who's starting the riots, because I guess Minnesota officials are saying it's like white supremacists. They're escalating the protests into a riot.
Yeah, so that was going to be the next thing I actually went into too.
Yeah, so it kind of seems it's people, maybe they're going out there to do the right thing, but since they're so angry, people are playing on that anger to subvert their attention. So now instead of saying, hey, we're all together, we're a show of force, this is an issue that we need to fix, then it's kind of like, you know, kind of like a bunch of dogs, you know, because my mom has 2 dogs, I have 2 dogs. They get together, one barks and then they all start barking. So it's like one person breaks a window and then it's like they're all gonna riot. So it's like and unfortunately we need someone to rein that in. And kind of like based on what you said about your kids too, it's, yeah, there's a point where you're gonna let someone be upset, but even if, you know, even if you're a parent, like your kids, they're upset because we're supposed to go somewhere and now they can't go, and you know it's your fault for playing. So even though it's your fault, you're gonna let them be upset for a little bit, but it comes to a point where it's like, hey, you're not gonna be upset anymore, because now I'm coming in on you because now you're just totally out of line. And I think. So, and if we let the riots go on so long without a purpose, with no one trying to get a dialogue with the correct people to actually make an actual change, then it's going to just be a retaliation and nothing's going to happen. Because then instead of remembering why they were rioting, it's look how far they rioted and look how bad everything got. And then the whole message is just gone as well too.
I don't necessarily think that protesting and rioting doesn't have a purpose per se. I definitely think the protesting and specifically peaceful protesting definitely has a purpose. But there comes a point where, you know, how many times have we seen at peaceful protests that have an umpteen number of middle class, people of color, as well as Anglo-Saxon people as well, in solidarity, or people showing support for this movement. And we've seen, you know, agents of the state, or we've seen police officers or National Guardsmen incite something because, you know, of course, in every group, you might have a bad apple or two. And then boom, you had something that is simple as, we're just going to march to the Capitol on a Saturday, and we're just going to come here. We're going to stand on the steps, going to listen to 2 or 3 speeches. People are going to take pictures. Boom, it's peaceful. We get in our cars and go home. But then now, oh, they're marching on the Capitol. Then you incite them by bringing out 7 different police jurisdictions, and they're all locked arms, and they have tear gas and a baton, and they're forming a line. And then, oh, you have 3 minutes to disperse. Boom, a tear gas canister flies into the crowd. Now you have mass hysteria. Then people that were once peaceful turn into rioters, and they're like, all right, I'm pissed, I just got tear gas, or we weren't even really doing anything. And now they're like, all right, I'm pissed off, I'm going to take my anger out. Ooh, here's a brick. Ooh, here's a window to Target. Brick, window, brick, window. Now you have, you know, Target and people running in and looting. So you have these different chains of effects. And I don't want to jump too far into policing, but I had a conversation with a white counterpart of mine who actually used to be my supervisor. And I said, too many times when it comes to these protests, especially peaceful ones, we put too much responsibility, we being the system and the media and all these outside forces, put too much responsibility on the de-escalation of these situations on the people that are peacefully protesting, and not the trained people that we all pay with our taxes
Yes.
to de-escalate and protect and serve us under the law and under the Constitution. Why if I'm pulled over or if I'm in front of you and my hands are up and I might be recording you, why is it my responsibility to de-escalate you? You're trained
totally
in this.
agree with that.
I'm not.
I totally agree with that, and I think that's what we were saying before too. And I guess what you're saying, maybe, and I don't know, I'm on the inside. Sometimes it seems like they want to escalate to take the focus off of them. So, and that's the thing. It's like they escalate it to turn it to a protest to a riot. So then, because then when it's on the news, it's not about peaceful protests about the death of this person. Like if you look at all the headlines now, it's riots in LA, riots in Atlanta, riots here, and then under it, it's the actual reason. And maybe it's a media tactic. Maybe they're trained to do it. Like I don't know. But
You're right.
But I mean, yeah, no. So and I think but onto what you said too about the de-escalation. It's maybe the media puts it on there because the government doesn't want to be wrong. And the thing is, we do have an issue, and then I feel like instead of, so we can't go to the history of saying, okay, because then there was, we had, and I'm gonna forget names, but because I think the person in Louisville, the cops came into her house and shot her and her boyfriend.
Brianna.
Yeah, she passed away. And we have a bunch of things that are going on. So I think before we can even connect the dots and say, hey, there's actually a problem, and maybe, and we have the bad apples. I'm not going to say that we have bad police officers, but maybe there's an issue with training. But before we could get that and connect all the dots, maybe they incite people to be hysterical, to riot, to be angry, to be violent. So then we can't connect all the dots. Because I honestly believe, besides the bad people out there, there is a lack of training or a lack of procedures in there that protect not only, people of color, but also the Anglo-Saxons, also other minorities, and also the officers. And that gets missed all the time because we can't go far back because now it's like, now we're dealing with this.
Okay, so I'm gonna go off of KJ's point. He's this way on mine. KJ's point of when how can I explain this? How about this? When you're going to riot and in the past that when we come peacefully, they have tear gassed us, they've done this, they've done that, blase, 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 they've done. Why has nobody ever thought of, since in the past they have done this, we should make sure that we have gas masks, that we have this, that we have that, in order to prepare for what we already know that they are capable of doing. My thing is, just everybody knows this. The definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result. Why are we not using our Second Amendment right to bring guns as well as them? Because we can. It can be a peaceful protest if we have our front line of people that are willing and able to do what they need to do if they get out of line. Because at the end of the day, we have a right to defend and protect ourselves. Now, another thing, I can't sit here and say that I think that there's no, just like you said, there's no purpose to protesting. It's just, we need to not only say our purpose, but bring our purpose of why we're protesting. We don't feel protected, so we need to protect ourselves. We don't feel like you all are in our best interest, so we need to be in the best interest of ourselves. We know that if I seen something yesterday, if there are 10 bad cops, or if there are 1,000 cops, and out of those 1,000 cops, 10 of them are bad, 1,000 cops are bad, because you have not pointed out those 10 cops that are bad or done what you needed to do to make sure those 10 cops are not destroying your name. They're allowing this to be unheard and unseen. So yeah, to me, I don't blame just a bad apple. They didn't get away with it by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not just them. They not the only person that knows what they did or knows what happened at a scene. I mean, you got the captain, the chief. They have to report back to them in some type of fashion. They can't just hide everything that they do. They can't just go off and shoot their gun and kill somebody without it being reported. Every time they shoot their gun, somebody got to know something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why put responsibility on just one cop? And why, I'm sorry, I guess I'm going a little far, excuse me. Why put responsibility on one cop, but also why put responsibility on them to protect us and serve us when we know what they've done in the past, period? Like, why can't we show up to be able to protect ourselves? Because showing up in a t-shirt and some shorts and with a water bottle ain't gonna save nothing.
Well,
right. And
go ahead.
Yeah. So with that, we have great examples of that. Like, I was online because lower hand. What?
Oh no! So it's a feature, so I don't talk over you. So I was raising my hand, so whenever
I didn't even realize that. Okay, so anyway,
hey, so we need a Zoom tutorial soon.
We witnessed with Hong Kong when they were going against their government. Like, they have full tutorials on how to deal with tear gas, what you should bring to a riot. They have all that. They put it all out there publicly. So it's like, hey, so next time you guys ride, you have it. It's public info. It's on Twitter. They literally, all those people, the main protesters, they reposted all the information for us to have. And they were like, hey, this is what you should do. This is blah, 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 blah. They was like throwing the information out there. They were getting crazy retweets, but nobody's listening. Nobody's like taking it to heart.
Well, I think based on it, unfortunately, out here, the laws are the police officer protected no matter what, and I think that's I guess moving forward. And so I want to save that for topic 3 to go in there. But that was just to answer your question. It's why can't we arm up? Why can't we do this? It's because no matter what, the police officer is protected, and unfortunately, so and they can use anything as escalation to do that.
That's fair, but in Hong Kong, it's the same situation. They're literally our Chinese mirror. They are literally our Chinese mirror. They're democratic. They went through the same. They uprise over possible. They were going to deport people to mainland China. I don't want to get like too off in the weeds on why they did it, but at the same time, like, they did it effectively. Like, they shut the state, their own legislature down to the point where they finally, when they did come back, they went, okay, let's take this bill off the table that y'all don't like. Let's change this thing that y'all don't like. We're going to fire these such police officers. We're going to change this policy. Like, they were so effective. The change happened. They protested, they rioted, and change happened because they were effective. And that's really the space where we should get to. It's not like we're like, rioting and protesting aren't new. You know, things have been done already, and we should just take the best, what is that called? Best practices, you know, from other people and add them to ours. Because if you know what to do, if you already know how to do it, you should do it. I guess to give my 2 cents though, so protesting, good. Rioting is fine too. I just don't like seeing people like destroying things that you use regularly, destroying things that actually like employ you and give you money. Because at the end of the day, you have to. These protests aren't protesting and rioting effectively. aren't cheap. You know, they're not cheap. You're gonna need money. Eventually, you're gonna have to like buy food for yourself. You're gonna need food. You're gonna need water. What's the point of, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like they burned down the Otto O'Reilly. I think it was
AutoZone.
AutoZone. Excuse me, AutoZone. Man, it was the same thing to me once it was on fire. Like I was like, shoot, that must burn in. Like, but
hey man.
Yeah, but like at some point you have to look at what you're doing. Like, because even when they protest back in the day, they made sure not to burn down Black businesses along the way. You know what I'm saying? They made sure, like, okay, this is ours, this is ours, this is ours, this is ours. Don't touch this, and this. You know, Everybody knew that. Don't touch these. But them other ones, we can go after that. We can go after this restaurant. We can go after this store. We can go after those because they're not ours. They took it. They took it to the correct place. They weren't in their own neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Going, we want no justice, no peace. Like, you can't do that in your own neighborhood. You take it to the people that don't care, the people that aren't paying you no attention. You take it to them. You don't protest in your own neighborhood. What's going around your block gonna do? Everybody know, dude, already. Everybody know what happened already. Right. Most of those people care. But when you go outside, them the people that don't care. So if you're gonna burn something down where they can see it, where they have to go buy it every day, and then their little child that's in the backseat going to say, why'd they burn that down? Then they gotta explain themselves. Mommy, why there's people outside our house? You gotta explain yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if you ain't putting them in a position where they have to explain themselves, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't realize how stupid you are till you open your mouth and actually have to say it.
Right.
You actually have to say it. It doesn't the gravity of how bad things are till you actually say it. And you know, I went back and did some research on why he died. It was a fake $20 bill. He died over $20. We have a riot going on, rioting and protesting going everywhere over $20. $20 that he might not even known if it was fake. We don't know now because he's dead.
Yeah.
You can't ask him that question. But I've had plenty of fake bills before, and I was like, oh, they were like, hey, this bill is fake. You can't use this. Oh shoot, I didn't know. Hold on, here's my debit card. You got to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. You can't just go, oh yeah, I'm gonna call the police. You're trying to fake money, bring fake money.
No, but it's even that, like, it's far within the rights to call the police, but the fact is that they handled it wrong and they escalated way too much for the situation. And I think that's where they need to be held accountable as well, which is why, like we talked about, rioting in certain places, it's like, yeah, it's like directed, going to the police station, it sent a message. But
so I want to
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, I was done.
So I want to jump on. I wrote down some notes about Celine's point with the Second Amendment and like why we're not really to jump back to protesting as, I know we want to move forward, but the reason why, at least in my belief, why we don't arm ourselves at these protests are because whatever stereotypes are put on minorities and people of color, we all know what they are. As far as having weapons, it just further heightens and tightens the situation or escalates the situation to a place that it doesn't need to be. And I feel you. Like, I'm going to jump back and say, I agree with what you're saying. We keep doing the same shit, expecting different results, and we're not getting anywhere. But understand, and I don't know if I'm saying, okay, we should or we shouldn't do it, because the last thing I want to see is if we walk out there, I got 2 pistols on my hip, my man's got a Glock, we got a couple of AKs in the back, cops are like, oh shit, niggas with guns, pop, pop, pop. Now you got a whole row of people laid dead. And then the defense to that will be, oh, well, they had guns and we feared for our lives, which is the same, obviously, mantra that we've been hearing after cop killing, after cop killing, after cop killing,
which is
so on and so forth.
Which is not to cut you off, which is what we saw in LA. And this is back when, horrible with names. I think Christopher Doran, because it was the Navy officer that became a police officer, and then he was fired. And so he was fired, and he went on his rampage. But the main issue was that the cops they try to cover up is that when they're trying to find him, they find his truck. they went to 3 different trucks that were not even the same color or the same make. And the first one, 2 ladies were delivering newspapers, and they shot this vehicle 102 times. Because and this was based on the fact that they knew he was armed. So the fact that he knew he was armed, and so they literally shot a truck at 5 o'clock in the morning with 2 old ladies delivering newspapers. Luckily, they're not dead. But I mean, I've been deployed. I've been out in Afghanistan, and I've never shot a vehicle 102 times, especially one that's not firing back at me. And I think so that goes to what he's saying as well too. Is like once they're like, oh, they're armed, they use that as an excuse to use excessive force, and then they're justified because and they did it. Not only they did it to that truck, the next truck they shot up the 3rd truck, they ran off the road, and that was excessive use of force before they even confirmed who the person was, and all those officers scot-free, nothing bad happened to them.
Right. And so then, I mean, so I guess, like I said, to both of y'all's point, on, what can we do to better arm ourselves? I do agree, in an extent, we need to do what they did in Hong Kong. Like, look, like I was looking at a manual, like, yo, they said the best way to stop tear gas is the traffic cone method. You put a traffic cone on it, let it, it'll blow up like a chimney. You pour water on it, boom, it's no more tear gas. You know what I'm saying? But it goes to how many people, like we see stuff on social media all day, every day. How many people are reading and using it? And on one end, on the other end, how many people are spreading false information? Not saying that the information that they put out about the protest is false, but it's so much misinformation that's put on and around social media and on these sites. And people are probably like, well, that don't sound like it'll work. That don't sound real. That didn't come from a news source. That came from, John Doe 775. He sounded like a spam account or a Russian bot. So the question is like, what can we do at the bare minimum? I do believe that having gas masks at these, at these events, because like Celine said, like a t-shirt, some Nike shorts and some Air Maxes clearly ain't working. To her second point, like we go out there to look fashionable. Like I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I've seen people come out there like, yo, Bread 11s, Jordan shorts, t-shirts, watches. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, okay, what are you expecting to be on CNN? Like, come on now. But to Celine's second point is that with these bad cops, and I asked this question at the town halls that I've been to, and I used to live in LA. I used to live in Houston, Texas. I lived in Atlanta. So I've been to different forums in different areas that I've lived in, and I asked the same question about bad cops. It's like, okay, every cop says, oh, I'm a good cop. Cool, you a good cop. But my thing is, what are you doing about the bad cops? And they're like, well, what do you mean? And so I always give the example about my grandmother and her garden. When my grandmother had a garden, she would get a weed in the garden. She would get Weed Be Gone, Roundup Killer, whatever the hell is out there, Weed Be Gone, and kill the weed, pluck it, boom. 3 days later, she would get 4 more weeds that would grow in its place. And she'd be pissed off, dude, spraying the Weed Be Gone, pluck those 4. Next day she'd get 8, so on and so forth. It wasn't until my grandmother was like, wait a minute, I have to change the environment that allowed the weed to thrive in the first place, that is not going to impact my whole garden. So my question to these cops, and I don't know if anybody on here can answer it, and I've been asking it for the last week and a half, and every time this happens, what are you as a good cop doing to change the environment that is allowing these bad cops to thrive in? Because obviously talking to them and turning the other cheek like the other 3 that should be arrested did, it ain't helping the situation.
Yep.
No, literally. I could 100% agree with you there. And that's where my statement comes from. If there's 10 bad cops and they're not doing nothing about it, then it's 1,000 bad cops. But the thing is, in Texas, they had guns out to get their stores back open. And yeah, they white, but we have that same right. I don't see how we have the balls to set fires or to break into stuff, but we don't have the balls to bring a gun for our own protection. I don't see how we have the balls to push at the cops, throw water bottles at them, do this, that, and the third, but we're not willing to stand front line in front of them with our guns as well as they have, or batons as well as they have.
Human nature. No one wants to be the first person to fall.
And that's the thing. It can't just be one person neither.
But I know it can't be one person, but I'll put it with, and I hate using this analogy. I really do. 9/11. Someone had they hijacked the plane with box cutters because no one wanted to get cut. It wasn't until the third plane where they said, "Hey, we're gonna die either way, so we might as well take over this plane," that someone said, "Okay, I'm willing to take like a slash for you or get hurt." And it's kind of like what we were saying earlier about the riots with the cone method. It's like, we put the cone over the tear gas so it goes like a tube and you pour water on it. But no one, a lot, 9 times out of 10, I can't say nobody. A lot of people are not going to say, "Hey, guess what? I'll take this tear gas for the 80 people behind me to go free and get the point across." And it's kind of like, it was funny because it's a Hollywood movie, freaking the Fast and Furious, Shaw and Hobbs, where it took him finally to say, it's like, "I'll take a punch for you to get one in." Yeah, and I'll take a punch so you can get one in. And unfortunately, we don't have that mentality. And as writers, as organizing, and unfortunately, that's something that we miss. And that's why I think during like the old protests, when it was more community involved, and they said, "Hey, we're not going after this, or this," because they were a collective unit. Now it's a bunch of individuals, and yeah, there's a general purpose, but there's no plan because no one's going to go, give themselves up for somebody else. And I think that's the main issue. And we know that if we bring out a gun, we're going to die.
But I'm going to say this real quick. I was going to say
ahead.
this real quick. I'm going to say this real quick, and then I'm going to shut up. But what you said about not wanting to be the first and people are being selfish, honestly, that's the reason why we still have coronavirus here in America. I'm not going to jump into the politics and the nature of who started it, where it came from, whatever, who cares. But when it first happened and it first came out, the charge was, look, stay home, only go out for essentials. What did you have happen? Fuck that. I'm not staying in my house. You can't tell me what to do. My constitutional right says A, B, C, D. I'm going to go to Walmart.
Yep.
Now we reach 100,000 deaths or something, like over 1 million cases. Meanwhile, the countries that sat still and they're like, look, I'm going to forego going to Walmart unless I absolutely need milk, or we're going to go one person and they're going to get everybody's stuff. They're going to drop it on people's door. Those countries open back up. Meanwhile, here we are in the middle of summer where we could all be at the beach. We could all be, winding down, doing day party and doing what we're doing. But we still technically supposed to be in the house, but we're just entering phase 1 in some places. And even in some cities, we're not in phase 1. But go ahead.
I was going to say that's the problem that's a problem that we face when we do protests, riots, whatever you call it. We don't seek change because we're fearful. Fear does not create change. And that's the problem. We're so fearful, oh, we might get shot, but nobody wants to think, oh, I might get shot even if I don't have my gun.
Okay.
I mean, either way it goes, it's a 50-50 chance that you will or will not in the first place. So why not be able to protect yourself and have a front line of people to be able to do it? I think that people need to start planning more, and that's the main ingredient. You have to have a plan.
I definitely
Somebody
agree with that.
said today that burn the plantation down. I said, why burn the plantation down and not just take out the people in the house? If you take out the people in the house, you got the house and the plantation. Oh, well, they killed people on this plantation. I don't want the memory of that, this, and the third. I said, what about if you do that, it avenges their deaths. You took over where they died, and you're basically making it something, rebranding it to something of your own. At that point, oh, well, we built the house, we can just build another one. Well, you're not going to have a house you're not going to have any protection if you trying to, let me run it back. If you're trying to build a house without having shelter already, it's not going to work. How you going to build a house from nothing? You going to leave everything you had and just be out there? Go burn down the other plantation. Okay, but what about the people? If you take over the house, 9 times out of 10, they're armed in the house. They have resources that you can use, protection for your women and children. But yet you want to burn down the plantation. That's not it's about having a plan. When you burn down the plantation, what's next? They're going to come out and shoot you. But if you plan to go in there and kill the people in the house, it's going to be a few casualties, but I guarantee it's more niggas than it is people in the house. So at that point, which direction are you going? You burning down the plantation without a plan, or are you going to kill the people in the house? Those are the people that are getting, you get what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to go out.
I wholeheartedly agree. I have no disagreement.
I agree with you. I see the analogy.
I get the analogy. It's go over there and take out the people who are causing the issue and use the resources for something better. That's the analogy, and I wholeheartedly agree with that.
But in every movement, there has to be a sacrifice. Like if you look at every uprising, rebellion, protest from the Haitian Revolution, which is one of my favorites, to Nat Turner, to the Civil War, to
this country existing,
this country existing, there's always been to civil rights. There's always been a sacrifice, and it takes someone emboldened and brazen enough to say, look, like, I'm willing to fall on the sword so that Celine's children's children don't go through what we went through or what we're going through right now. And to my knowledge, I don't see too many people, and I could be missing some, that are willing to, like, you know what? I got my life insurance. I got my generational wealth set up. I'm willing to fall off so that these babies, this next generation that could spark and be the mind to do something great has a fair shot at doing it, because right now they don't. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down. But to the point is that we don't see too many people willing to fall on the sword for the greater good of everyone else.
Right. Okay, so I would like to, unless anybody has anything else. Oh, I do have one quick thing though. Like with our protests and with the protests and the riots, there's been a lot of people out there that are like using this opportunity, since there's a lot of people out there, to hijack our movement and make it something that it's not. And you can visibly see those people in every video online. You can literally pick them out. Like the regular protester is coming, like you said, they got t-shirts, they got shorts on, they got comfortable tennis shoes and a water bottle. Like, yo fam, you finna run out of water. However, them other cats, they out
the
there
gas mask
up, hoodie pulled down, they got on goggles, or they got on a full face mask. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are prepared. They got a backpack full of whatever, like tools, you know what I'm saying, so they can break into stuff. They got, some of them do have guns on them, and it's like, they're not part of our movement at all. But they're using this opportunity to sow chaos and cause mass disruption. And now everyone's looking at us saying, oh my God, you thugs are looting and blah, blah, blah. Every time I've seen a building getting bust open, it wasn't black people. Like the initial start, like the person that started was not a black person. They come in, they start it, they leave really fast. they're gone. They're gone. They're in and out of the camera in 30 to 90 seconds every time. 30 to 90 seconds. They pop it off, they leave. And then all of a sudden, other people like, yeah, and they jump in. You know what I'm saying? They incite other people to jump in, and then all of a sudden, you have this rush of people, and then all of a sudden you see even more people leave. Like they're that organized, and then they'll dip off and they go to the next thing, and now all you're left with is regular people, regular protesters that normally wouldn't do nothing. They're out there now looting, taking everything, you know what I'm saying, running into Walgreens with no mask on. I'm like, oh, y'all going to jail. Like, I've never seen some stuff that stupid. I was watching this man's live for like an hour. I'm like, no lights are still on in there. The cameras is rolling. You going to jail. Like, they going to take their time going through this footage one by one. All y'all going to jail.
Look, I was watching a news channel last night, and they were talking about that liquor store. I don't know if any of y'all has seen it. And when I tell you, it was literally people coming out with cases of beer, liquor, no mask on, drinking in front of the store. They managed to get the damn safe out of the store, rolling it out like a liquor store at this point. But besides all of that, it's just, I think we can all agree that protesting without a plan just ain't it. Looting just ain't it. And that something needs to give in order for these protests / riots to work for or in our favor. Other than that, I mean, you said thugs and we're called thugs and stuff. Let me ask you this real quick. Don't you think when you hear thugs, do you automatically assume that somebody is talking about a Black person?
Due to the context and the historical nature of it, when people just jump out there and they say it like that, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes every time, because when you have after baseball games, hockey games and stuff, people go out there like what was that? Their football coach got fired or whatever because he was a sexual predator, and they went and destroyed everything in Kansas. I'm like, what's going on? And they weren't even called that. They were called I think they said those people were they were upset. You know, they're frustrated. Frustrated youths take out, like the headline I was reading, I'm like, no, what happened to thugs? These people are pushing down light poles. Okay, like I've never seen people like climb up to the top of a building, get to the sign and kick the letters over. Like, I'm like, what is going on? Like, this don't even have nothing to do with, this is way out your way. Like, if you're just gonna break in the building, cool, but like, they just for mass destruction. They burned down everything, flipped over buses, you know what I'm saying, burned cars, all of that. And for what? That was for literally nothing. That was for literally nothing. A baseball team losing a game is worthless.
Okay, so my point stemmed from when somebody says thugs, don't you think it's kind of sad that Black people automatically place ourselves in that category because of what other people have stereotypically said? Me personally, when I seen, like, let's pull up the statement of Trump. He said these thugs, the looting, if you continue looting,
I got that on standby. I got that saved in my image.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll read it right off to you. All right, so here we go. Full quote. I can't stand back and watch this happen to the great American city of Minneapolis. A total lack of leadership, either a very weak radical left mayor, I don't know why that has anything to do with anything, Jacob Frey, get his act together and bring the city under control, or I will send the National Guard and get the job done right. these thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let it happen. Just spoke to Governor Tim Walz and told him that the military is with him all the way. Any difficulty, and we will assume control, but when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you.
Okay, so
I like this transition, by the way.
Now look here. From a standpoint of, do you not think that the mayor should put reins on what is going on in his city? Because in the end, he is the mayor.
Yes, but at the same time, this stuff happened so fast and things went left so fast.
But
it was beyond a normal means to control it. He put the police out there, but the police weren't ready for that. They weren't ready.
No, it wasn't even that. But the issue is that for a lot of things, there is so much red tape, because when your mayor is outside actually questioning why wasn't he arrested, the police officer arrested yet, and that's because there's so much red tape. So it shows that, the mayor, he can say, I want this, and we see it in the military a lot of times. It's like Colonel Laban's like, I want this to happen, but it has to go through how many different things before it actually happens. And I think that's the main issue. And with that, so it's like, he's the mayor, he can say what he wants to do, but then and also police officers, they have so much protection rights too that you have to do everything the exact way. So it's like he can't really snap his fingers and say, hey, let's solve this right now. And that's part of the issue, and that's moving forward. So there's certain things I want to do for topic 3, that there's things that need to change, or other things that need to be put in place to avoid situations like this.
So I'm gonna go.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, so I'm gonna go back, and Celine, I'm gonna answer your question. When I see the word thugs, and unfortunately due to the conditioning the media has on, myself, which I'm slowly breaking out of, and a lot of other Black people, when I see the word thugs, I do instantly think of a Black person, specifically African American male, because these are the terms that are used to generalize us in a media that is widely controlled by, let's be frank, white people. But it's funny when you brought that question up, and then you brought up the instances of the burning and the looting, and then the Donald Trump tweet. I instantly, from last night, from when I was watching the TV, I instantly remember 2 things, and they both involved white people. The first instance was, I don't know if anybody saw when they looted the Target, and it's become a gift now, and people made jokes about it, was the white girl with the lamps running out of Target. Like, she didn't touch shit else. She went over to the lamps, grabbed it, and she scurried out of Target real quick. And then you see the camera pan on her, then you see it pan back, and then it's just a bunch of Black people, and they're just walking back and forth in the store. And I don't know what happened after that because of the cutout. Then the second instance was in Atlanta at the CNN Center, which I tuned in like almost from its inception. And there's just this white guy, and he has a skateboard, and he's literally bashing the windows and breaks them at the CNN Center. And then out of nowhere, you see a firecracker blows up in everyone's face. Then they hit the tear gas. Both instances involve white people. And it's funny that you asked that question, and then those 2 instances in my memory stick out the most prominent. One, because it's hilarious as shit, and the other one is because when we talk about these provocateurs, or these people coming in from out of state, and not even to go back to the looting, or these thugs that Donald Trump talk about, I mainly see white people inciting this stuff. And even if you want to go to Twitter or social media, they've already outed that some of the people that are starting these problems in Minnesota or Minneapolis were police officers or undercovers.
White.
Let's talk about that.
And that's another thing. So basically, it comes down to my point. Referencing thugs and knowing that it was not just solely Black people out there, that it was what I've seen, mainly white people. I've seen Mexican, Asian, white, and Black. What if that's not, you get what I'm saying? You think, put it like this. He said when the looting starts, the shooting starts. So they just targeting Black people, or are they targeting everybody?
Now that whole quote. Hold on, I got
come out of.
Yeah. Go. Yeah. Let's get into it.
But for that quote,
you know what I'm saying?
That phrase is why it instantly made thugs associate with Black people. Again, because that phrase, the quote, when the looting starts and the shooting starts, originated by a racist white Miami police chief named Walter Heatley. You can look at it's Google. You can Google it. Who targeted Black people in 1967 ahead of the Republican convention? Donald Trump used the same line. That's the same exact quoting.
Yeah, but I'll.
Exactly, but the thing is, everybody can see that it's just not Black people, though.
No, but everybody
Actuals come from that. The fact is that there were not only Black people stealing from those stores. See, just like I said with the liquor store incident, it wasn't just Black people.
But I think the term they're using thugs is because it's a it's a Black people connotation. Whether in rap songs it's a good thing or in the media it's a bad thing. So, but the issue is they're trying to divide it, and like I said, they're trying to isolate it. So they divide it. So now they're saying, because honestly, beyond a Black person issue, this whole thing, it's a humanity issue. No man should have to go through that. So, and the fact they're saying, oh, so that's where people are reaching back. So yeah, people are trying to justify, the use of force. Yeah, people trying to justify, the procedure of why he wasn't arrested right away. And the thing is, and they're trying to say, they're trying to justify it, so then it's not a white person problem. It's not it's not a Hispanic problem. It's only a Black person problem. So they're dividing everything. So they're telling everybody else, stay inside. This won't happen to you. It's only a Black person problem. And I think so. That's where the use of thug, it's used on purpose. It's used to divide it to say, hey, so now instead of affecting all the minorities, which is I think right now it's 55%. Because I think because the white population in the United States is 45%. We're going to scale it back to the 15% of only Black people. So this only affects 15% of people, and they're using it just to alienate and divide. And, right. And that's what we're talking about earlier too, because like moving forward even with the protests, a lot of stuff, it's not going to get better until we include all races and say, hey, it's this, no matter what you are, you could, and people have said it, no matter who you are, that this is wrong. We need to fix this because it's not going to stop with just you, because soon if things change or you have a Black cop in power, he might do the same thing, and now it's a white child on there too. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we need to show that this can affect you, and this is why you need to protest with us. But I think they use the term thugs and anything they could use to divide the people, and so and that's why kind of like when people combat Black Lives Matter with all lives should matter. And then, all lives do matter, but we're not, your Black Lives Matter, it doesn't detract from that, but this is why. But we're putting this up to it now because soon because this can affect your life.
But we've seen, okay, so to jump on two points. First thing, Donald Trump and his whole administration are the biggest plagiarizers in history. And not to jump to his whole election, but we all know his wife stole Auntie Michelle's speech from the Democratic National Convention. So that's one. Then we also know,
what do we expect from her anyway?
I'm not mad at her. She found some good work. She's and the thing is too, she owned it. She's like, she's a role model to me. She does like that too. So she owned it. She wasn't like when Donald does steal something, he's like, no, I didn't.
He wasn't like,
but they say imitation is a great, but so that's one. And then two, as far as rhetoric, Donald Trump, his whole "Make America Great" that's on the hat was a campaign slogan that was once used by Ronald Reagan, who, as we all know, started the war on drugs, and all these divisive things that happened in the 80s with the 3 strikes law and felonies and just say no, crack is whack, and all the other bullshit that happened in the 80s.
55 day life.
Yeah. we could be here.
What you say?
Red Ribbon Day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ooh boy. Man, I hate that shit.
Man. Okay.
But so the fact that Donald Trump stole this quote from someone who I don't know this white Miami mayor, but I'm assuming he was a racist. They said he was a racist. So
yeah. He's straight up. He straight up was, bro.
Straight up racist. So
straight up
it's not unfamiliar. It's not unfamiliar and not really off base for someone like Donald Trump, who we all know should be mentally clinicalized or also in jail for rape. But another topic. So it doesn't surprise me that he stole those words. But to the second point of like with these movements and Black Lives Matter, and that has to mean a lot for all people. The problem with fundamentally discussing these issues and associations with white people is that white people don't want to be uncomfortable talking about race. They don't want to be uncomfortable with talking about bigotry, with police brutality. That's why you have this bullshit of all lives matter, which, I mean, yeah, they do, but we're talking about the Black ones right now in this moment. And then, of course, you have the other bullshit farce of blue lives. What the fuck is a blue life? What blue people are there? Like, the Smurfs are a cartoon, my nigga. Like, what are we talking about?
Hey, that cat tried to kill them all.
Hey.
At this point, I think they talking about Avatar. I don't know.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. But
make me feel old now.
Oh, shit. Yeah, but in a scheme of like, what are we really, what are these things talking about? And going back to on track real quick, white people have to want to talk about shit on their own terms. And that shit bothers me to my core, and why I no longer really engage with white people about race and about issues, because no matter what we do as a people, and y'all can agree or disagree, it's never going to deeply impact them until they get put in the exact same situations, the exact same oppression that we have for the last 400 some odd years that's still continuing. White people don't have to worry about, like I told a white friend of mine, I'm like, look, bro, I've been scared of coronavirus, not because of coronavirus, but because now, before the weather broke, I'm walking into a store with a black hoodie on and a fucking mask on. You can't identify me from 10,000 other people. Now I have to worry about not catching a fucking deadly virus by somebody coughing or spitting on me, or some stupid ass white woman who won't wear a mask, but also B, by a trigger happy security guard who might say, oh, I don't think you paid for that pack of gum or that Skittle in those Arizona, so show me your hand, don't move too fast, oh shit, I fear for my life, and I'm gonna shoot you. And so these things and these situations, until white people are put in these uncomfortable and uncompromising and oppressive situations, they won't understand what it's like to face the same issues that we as minorities have faced.
Yes.
And I would like to add, though, because as you stated, the population is shifting, where now the minorities are at 55% of the population and they're at 45%, and it's constantly, they said by 2050, they're going to be a legit minority. That, I think there's elements of them that are horrified of that. They are scared of being us. Because
they are, but they're not worried, because the one thing I will say, coming from a mixed family, and my dad says it, and he hates it, that white people stick together, and unfortunately, that's the issue. And maybe we need to do that, and that's where we need to be more inclusive, and maybe reach out to other minorities as well too. But I feel like there's also a divide within the different minorities, because they're not the majority of people, but they're still 45% of white people, and they stick together. And that's something that we don't do. And, like KJ was saying, until they're put in that situation, and I think they're afraid of us coming together, which is why they put things to divide us, and they say Hispanics versus black people, and it's even dumb, Japanese versus Chinese, Asians versus Korean, and it's like they have Koreans over there versus everybody else, because if they can fracture us there, we can't come together and say, hey, guess what? We can make a change. And that's why in the LA area, they moved out of LA to go to Valencia and move out of there so they could congregate and be together.
Yep.
I made a point of, I literally stated on Facebook today, stop trying to get racist white people to like you. Stop trying to get racist white people to understand you. Stop trying to get racist white people to approve of you. You don't need racist white people.
Exactly.
And I made that point because that's okay. I'll put it at this standpoint. Just like on some things I can't change your mind on, and some things you can't change my mind on, don't try to convince a white racist to like black people. Just don't. let them live and let live, and make sure that your Black household is taken care of, and that they know what they need to do in order to be a part of the community so we can become a unit. I mean, at this point, we've been trying to get them to like us for 400 years. Why keep trying to get them to like us? Hell, I don't care if a white person like me or not. But what I do care about is if my sons walk out this door as they get older, how they're going to shape themselves in this world, how they're going to make a change in this world. It's my boyfriend always says it starts with yourself, and see yourself as a pebble. When you throw a pebble into a pond, it makes a ripple effect.
Mm-hmm.
Be that pebble and make a ripple effect, and teach you and yours. Just teach you and yours to do the same. So that way, now you got 5 people that know what's going on. When they get around their friends, they know what's going on, and so on and so forth. But like he said, we don't unify ourselves, and that's the main problem, because unity will create fear in the government.
Yeah,
between Black people.
Yeah, and I definitely feel that. And I've been growing up. I don't want to go too far off subject, because I've noticed it in the Hispanic community and in the Black community. When someone is actually bettering themselves, it's looked down upon, and I cannot fathom why. Because I didn't have the issue with it so much because of where I grew up and everything, and then my dad being white, so I was actually like in a good area. But my cousin and his friends, because they lived out in Palmdale, and so like his friends, you know, they liked me and everything because I was me, but I wasn't as close to them. But as soon as my cousin, he decided to join the military, he went to college, he was doing these things to better himself. They were dogging him like the whole time. Like, why are you getting money? Why are you wearing clothes that fit? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that?
Oh, you like one of them white boys now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think we need to stop doing that as well. And I don't speak for the two communities, the Hispanic community and the Black community, because those are the ones I'm most ingrained with, and I've seen it on the inside. But I think we need to stop attacking each other, and like we all said, unity. And that's what white people fear. That's what the government fears. I shouldn't say what all white people. That's what people in power who don't want to give it up. That's what they fear.
Absolutely.
And that's why they have the good old boys club and everything too. And as long as and that's the thing. If we're attacking each other, you know, they don't need to attack you. If you're going into government and everything, because I'm attacking you saying, why are you doing that? Because if I can persuade you not to do it, you know, then they don't need to say, hey, you can't do it, and it's less energy for them.
Yep. And then
they definitely give each other blind loyalty, like to a fault. They don't give up on a person to like it's like the last straw. They're like, oh man, like there's nothing we can do for him. Okay, we're gonna have to get rid of him for the sake of the group. Like that's the only time they'll get rid of somebody. It's for the sake of the whole.
When it's on camera and they're kneeling on someone's back. Because I found out this guy had 18 complaints against him before. He was involved in 2 other shootings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Killed people.
Yes, but now it's on camera. Oh, we'll fire him now.
Yeah. So to touch on that, so I'm gonna go back to the unity thing. I love having this notepad. I've been taking hella notes. Because I don't want to cut anybody off. But the one quote that stuck out to me, as far as with the unity thing and with the good old boy network and the systems that we talk about, Carter G. Woodson once said, if you control a man's mind, you need not worry about his actions. And really, you know, that speaks to, you know, us really not unifying. But then even going back a step further, the first thing is that I think Celine had brought it up, is that, you know, when she brought up white people sticking together, and we saw this with the last election. White people will always do what's in the best interest for white people. Specifically, white women will always do in the best interest of white women. That's why 53% of them voted for Donald Trump. Why? I don't fucking know. I can't fathom it, but I assume it has something to do with Hillary Rodham Clinton must have talked about something positive for minorities and African Americans. And Karens and Beckys of the world said, you know what? This motherfucker might grab me by the pussy, but goddamn it, I won't be a nigga. I don't know what happened, but I'm assuming it was something along those lines that scared white soccer mom, minivan driving suburbia, that they all got together and decided to vote for this asshole. But
it was an FU vote.
Say what now?
It was a FU vote. It was a FU vote back to the government because think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, I mean, mind you, just like we tired of the government shit, white people tired of the government shit too.
Well, but it wasn't even the government shit. But I do know, back to what KJ was saying too. I know women who didn't vote for Hillary because they didn't want her representing to be the first woman president. So I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Sorry, excuse my language. It's like, so you want to compromise your rights because you're afraid this person's gonna represent you. So you want someone that's gonna make it, you know. But go on, KJ. I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. You good because it provides context. Everybody's good. But yeah, I've heard those reasons and those sentiments. But I think staying on that line, a lot of people, like you said, a fuck you vote to the government. A lot of people, when Obama got in office, they literally conspired in a bar. All the Republican senators and the House members said, look, whatever this nigga decides to do or votes on, we're not going to pass it. His entire 8 years in office. They got together the night he won and decided on that. And so when she says it's a fuck you vote, I wholeheartedly agree because it's like, for 8 years, we, as white soccer mom, minivan driving suburbia, had to sit up there and look at this coon and his angry black woman of a wife in office, and we're fed up. And we're not going to put this is a well-to-do, white woman who couldn't even give her husband a blowjob or whatever the case may be in office. So we're just going to vote for this guy because he wants to build a wall to keep out Mexicans that never got built. He wants to deport people and illegals that shouldn't be here. And this is what which he hasn't done. And this is what you get. But going back on the rails and talking about black people sticking together, I've said this numerous times and a lot of people disagree with me, but I think desegregation was the worst thing that happened to African Americans. And
you preaching now.
And I think desegregation was the worst thing that happened to African Americans. And everybody was like, no, well, we got to integrate with white people and our kids got to go to school in the suburbs and we got resources. And I had to sit back and think like, bro, everyone knows about 1921, Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But do you know about the Black Wall Street in Greensboro, North Carolina? Do you know about the Black Wall Street that was in Atlanta, Georgia? Do you know about the one that was in Jacksonville, Florida? It was a few other. There was more than one Black Wall Street. But the problem with it was white people got fucking jealous because we were becoming doctors, lawyers. We were going to, at the time, some of the best institutions in the country. Yep. The Fisk, the Howards, the Spell Houses, the Meharry Medical Colleges, the who's of HBCUs, and coming out and becoming lawyers and building ecosystems within our own community where we didn't need them unless it was to ride the bus, which we successfully boycotted to get to work as we pulled together and we rode in cars and we all walked, whether it was to, my dog is on the blinds. Hey bro, chill out. Whether it was to ride the buses, whether it was to I'm trying to remember. March for equal voting rights across the bridge to Selma. We came together for all of these different things. And so in this fighting, people forgot that we weren't demanding to just stay separate. We were also demanding to be equal.
Exactly.
And that was the problem. White people refused to say, hey, I'll let you have your space and make it equal because they knew that we far outpaced them in every fucking thing that we do. And I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of talking about being educated and how it goes back to Kemet and how they stole all our shit from Africa and Europe and all that shit. We all know the history behind that. But white people, like you said, I think, Alan, you said it, white people were so afraid that if they give us a foot up or the system gives us a foot up, we'll take that bitch and run off on a mile and we'll far outpace them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think with that being said, we maybe can move on to the next subject.
Let's do it.
But hold on.
I think that was a nice ending. I don't know.
No, he preached. No, next subject. You're done, Byron.
Subject wasn't even there, but we got there.
Well, I think that was actually a segue. It's actually a good segue because that was actually 2 and 3, honestly, because that was possible plans of actually to move forward, and honestly, it's unity. So we could go more onto that about how to move forward, but because that was like the bridge to 3.
Oh, okay.
And KJ says, man, Moses over there paving everything, just like, make me look bad.
No, that's a Selena over there. She's the moderator. All right, can we move this on?
That was a good set. Like, cause I said I'd like anyway. So possible plans of action moving forward. So to move forward. So what would you all like to see happen? I know me.
Immediately or down the road?
Both. We gotta not just long term. We gotta have short term and long term plans. Like you're planning out your own life. Like this is how you gotta plan it out. Like you got short term goals, you got long term goals. Long term goal, like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? I wanna own this business. Well, your short-term goal got to be, I got to save up enough to buy to be able to buy the licensing. You know what I'm saying? You have to start somewhere. So you got to have your start point mapped out, and you got to work all the way up to your end point. You ain't got to have like everything cookie cutter. You know what I'm saying? Because things are going to happen to you, and you have to be able to adjust and be flexible. But at the same time, I don't see where there's an end goal. Like hard end goal. Like each person is, oh, well, I want to see this happen. I want to support this. And I want to see this happen. And I want to support this. But we're not all together. Like we need to go this, and this. Because if you line them up, some of them are dominoes. Because if you conquer this one, it'll knock the next 2 over. And then you don't have to work on those other 2. You can just move on to the next thing. You can just move on to the next thing. Yeah, I just think, like we spend, I would like to say, like, in going forward, like we have to stop spending so much time fighting for rights for other people because it doesn't affect us. It doesn't affect us. Like, it's going to sound crazy. Somebody's going to get mad once I upload this. But feminism and gay rights, they don't help us. They don't. At the end of the day, they don't help us. It is for the white people in those categories. They don't help us. Because at the end of the day, you're still black first. That's the first thing they see. They don't even ask you if you're gay. They don't even care if you're a woman. You are black.
You know what? You know how Obama had a change of heart in the second election about LGBTQ? Mm-hmm. It was because they backed him. It always comes down to who is backing who, and that means money at the end of the day. Because Obama was not for LGBTQ at first when he first ran. But he said he had a change of heart on his second term because they backed him financially.
Go ahead, Alan. Go ahead, bro. No, go ahead, bro.
Oh, I think I can't say don't fight for other people's rights, but I will.
Fight for ours first.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't put our rights on the back burner to help someone else. But I think also making those connections, because unfortunately, and it's unfair, and I totally, I disagree with it wholeheartedly. We have to work on getting rid of the negative connotation and stereotype, which we didn't put it on ourselves, so we should have to remove it. But unfortunately, that's the world that we live in, and I don't know how to get there right away. I mean, there's some things here or there that kind of goes through education, because like what Byron said, unfortunately, they see us as a black person first. And I was actually talking to it with my girlfriend today, and with my and I've seen it, and my dad sees it firsthand. Like right now, I'm wearing a t-shirt and some shorts, right? And my dad dresses like a bum all the time when he goes outside until he's going somewhere nice. He can go outside and people see him, and before they even think, oh, is he white trash, trailer park trash, anything like that too, they'll talk to him and get to know him. With me, they see me and it's like, oh, he's that nigger over there, you know, in the lawn, not dressed up, doing nothing, probably not working, living off his wife, and you know, and that's what they think. I don't get that opportunity to say, hey, who are you? What do you do? How are you, Alan? You know, and that goes into what Byron was saying about that, and everybody's saying about the rights too. Like we're black first, and so somehow we have to kind of make it so people actually see us as people instead of black people first. They're like, no, we're not black, we're people, and maybe after that they'll treat us with respect and be like, okay, he's black, but you know.
But that's the thing. Just like I said, stop trying to get people to like you, respect you. Look,
it's not about getting people to respect me or like me, because I said I could give a damn about who likes me. But the thing is, we have to teach our kids, when you get pulled over by a cop, this is what you have to do. And the thing is that shouldn't be the case. So I'm not saying trying to get people to like me or respect me or anything. I was like, hey, he's a person first, and like we said with the pebbles, we'll make a ripple effect. So then everybody sees that, hey, there are people. There are people first.
You know, but that's the thing. To me, it's not going to. To me, it's like this George Floyd, not the first person. George Floyd, unfortunately, is not going to be the last person that gets hit by a white cop. So my thing is, forget trying to, let's say, change people's mind on seeing that just because we're also black, but we're also human. To me, at this point, years and years and years later, we've tried that approach. As far as we are human, we are a person too. At this point, teach your child what they need to do when they get pulled over, period. And I don't want to speak too soon on this, but let's just put it out there. Today I was talking to somebody about what if we had set up our own neighborhood watch, in a sense to where we would be able to call somebody if we got pulled over, so they can show up on our behalf to make sure that nothing happens. And because at this point, we can clearly see when that man was on the ground, they did not see him as a human. That man will never see a black person as a human, as you can see his previous record. He got an agenda against black people, apparently. So my thing is, convincing people is out. Convincing people is out, because people want to think what they want to think. The thing is, what do we need to do in order to make sure our people are good?
So
okay, real quick, I have just one statement, and KJ, you can run with it.
No, go ahead, bro.
We need to accumulate actual power, like to actual hold people accountable. We have no power. We have nothing. Like at the end of the day, realistically, everyone's talking like all this, like like people love to just talk all this like war and warrior talk and like we are kings and all this other stuff. But I'm like, we have no power. You're a king of what? You're a queen of what? Like, if you are royalty, act like it. Get some power. Get some power and hold on to it. You have to have politicians that are yours. Forget a Democratic Party, forget a Republican Party. Why do we not have our own party at this point?
Exactly.
They've proven that they don't work for us. They've proven it time and time again. We need our own. Anytime we have our own, we are very, very successful. It's historically proven. Every time we get our own stuff, it works great. It works without a hitch. It goes great. Everyone wins. Everyone wins. So in that situation, with what you said, that neighborhood watch, we need that. We need our own politicians. We need our own mayors. We need our own, we just need to go back. If we backtrack and we look at previous organizations that were already there, we just need to bring them back and make them 20th century, 21st century. We just need to make them nuanced to work in the now. So you can fire off. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm gonna answer everything in order. So your first question, Byron, when you brought up the topic was what is our short-term and long-term goals? One of the things, I do agree with your point. We do need more representation, so that would be my long-term goal. But in the interim, we need to have more dialogue. And I think I opened up my whole segment by, and maybe I didn't, but one of the things that I've been talking about on social media is that we need to have, when we talk about plans of actions and what are we going to do after the protest, we need to have a viable plan of action. We need to have more dialogue with people who will or who are currently representing our interests. And the reason why I say that is that we have so many people that looked at when Barack Obama won and they were so pissed off, like, oh, Barack Obama ain't do shit for niggas. He ain't do nothing for me in Detroit or in whatever major city was, on the block. And then my response to that is that Barack Obama is a federal official. Donald Trump is a federal official. We're looking even now at Donald Trump like, why the fuck, this bitch ass nigga, he ain't doing shit for black people. He ain't doing shit for the country. Donald Trump and Barack are federal officials. My next question to you would be is, what did you do in the midterm election? Who did you vote for? Did you look at the people that were running for your state legislators, your assemblymen and women? Even closer to that, did you look at the platform of your mayor? Did you look at the platform of your circuit judges? Did you look at the platform of your city delegates or whatever the hell they're called in whatever town you live in? Did you look at their platforms and vote? That Tuesday on that November that you got off where you decided to go drink, did you vote before you did all that? If the answer is no, you can't look for a federal official to make laws and changes and impact at the state and local level, because that's not how civics works, broken down to its fundamental core. That's why there's a difference between states' rights and federal rights. And people are so flabbergasted and they want to go into, oh, well, voting is rigged and all the other, man, spare me the bullshit. If you didn't vote, you can't say shit to me. I don't care. If you didn't vote, you didn't exercise your voice. So that's the first thing. The second thing, going into figuring out what's first and foremost for our people. I want to take you all back. Did everybody see Selma, the movie?
Yeah.
So you didn't see it? Did you see it, Celine?
I didn't see the whole thing. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Okay, so in Selma, there's a scene.
I've read it though.
Cool. So in Selma, so to give people who didn't see Selma, in Selma, there's a scene before they did the first organized, not Bloody Sunday, but before they did the first organized march to Selma to Montgomery, they were all sitting around someone's living room, and I forget the gentleman's name. His name escapes me in real life, but he sat down and he said, we need to figure out tactics and we need to figure out tangible things that we need to take back to President Johnson in the White House. And everybody in the room spit off, okay, this is what's important in voting rights. And this is what's important. This is the process. This is what we need to impact first. We need to go here. No, we need to go there. They sat and broke down voting rights as a large umbrella into tangible tactics and things they needed to attack in order to secure the overall goal. So for us, as a people, we need to break down, okay, first, what is our overall goal? Okay, equal rights, stopping police brutality. What does that look like from a lower level scale broken down into pieces? A, we need to secure better training. B, we need to create a subcommittee that's tasked by citizens and probably one elected official to review police misconduct trials separate from internal affairs Bureau of Investigation. Then we need to enact more community policing. What does that look like? You can't be a police officer of a city you don't live in. These are our rules. D, if you do not adhere to to what we're laying out, we will not vote for you if you're the elected official that we put on this subcommittee. We need to break down the bigger picture and put it into smaller ones. And then I had wrote down, we had went somewhere else. Oh, and then I think Celine brought up community policing, and being in our own neighborhood watch. I think that is one of the most crucial things that we need to have as a people. And it doesn't matter if you live in, I'm sorry. Going back to what we need to do, and as far as, going back real quick to, what we need to do in order, I'm not going to sit up here and say that, gay rights for the LGBTQIA community and rights for feminism, they don't matter, because they absolutely do. Because if that's who you identify with, then that's who you identify with. I can only speak on behalf of being what's called a cisgender African-American male or straight Black male. But I will say that when you look at me first, you see a Black man.
Right.
Now, whatever I subscribe to behind that is my business or is their business to talk about. But the first thing that we need to do, obviously, yes, is focus on African-Americans. But we need to organize. I always laugh and joke about this. I'm like, man, could you imagine what would happen if Black people organize the same way the gays do? Like, could you imagine if every time somebody makes a racist comment or makes, something stupid on TikTok saying the N-word, that their shit gets shut down and everything that they try to do behind that is power driven and shut down after that? Like, when somebody does something that, the LGBTQIA community does it, they pounce on that person and say, this is not acceptable. We do it, but then it's like, oh, okay, so Kim Kardashian, not even to say, use her as an example, Kim Kardashian says something wild. Oh, we don't like that. Oh, 3 weeks later, Kim Kardashian donates to a HBCU. Yeah, Kim K, I see you. You out here. I'm going to watch the show, and you got the new lipstick coming out. Oh, you free the Black man. Yo, I'm your biggest fan. Like, no, like, we cannot let one wrong transgression be allowed based on one good deed to cover up that transgression. And then I'm going to jump off the dialogue real quick. And then my last thing, with community policing, we definitely do need to reopen a dialogue with the officers that are placed in our community. And that goes back to our tactical planning. We need to not necessarily have a say which officers come into our community, but we need to, get rid of this stop snitching stigma. I fucking hate this shit to my core. We need to and somebody brought it to me the other day, we need to push more African-American men and women in our communities towards law enforcement. Like Alan said, like his friend joined the military. Like, it's not a bad thing to go and join the military or to become a cop. You're not a sellout. You're not the Fed. You're not a pig. Whatever stereotypes they put on you, we have to push our people to doing that. And then coming back and working in our community to best represent all of our interests. Because apparently the motherfuckers they place off from white suburbia ain't doing a good job.
Exactly.
Right. I do want to go back and just clarify one thing with what I said. When I say like we don't need to be like dealing with feminism and gay rights, is because I just fundamentally feel like it's not a Black, like it's a when you're like what I've seen. So when you're like gay and Black or whatever, you're suffering on two fronts, and the main one is that you're Black first, and if you more identify with your gay, that's fine, and that's what you want to do. But as far as the community as a whole, like, you're free to go do whatever you want as the community as a whole. And then I don't like not care about those people and not want them to have equality and be treated well. Like, that'd be crazy. That's nuts. Like, it would be denying the very humanity that I'm demanding for our own selves. But what I'm saying is we have to look at ourselves first. Like, I'm not going to go out and go farm somebody else's land when my people are hungry. Like, no, I'm gonna go farm my own land first. Why would I go farm your stuff? Why would I go, you know, uproot weeds over at your house for? Like, no, I have my own.
You can't build your house. You can't build your house if you steady giving your bricks away.
Exactly.
Boom. There it is. There it is.
Right there.
There it is.
Right there.
But I do.
Oh, go ahead.
Real quick. But I do think that there issues in the LGBTQ community, because I have friends and I have family members that are in that community, and even a lot of a lot of women or lady friends that subscribe to feminist and even womanist, which is more inclusive of Black women, womanist theories. I do think that they need to be heard and they do need to be given equal rights, equal pay. Yeah. But in the order of what we're talking about, how do we break down this big thing of what we all as a collective people want? It's hard for us to do that because we're all striving for different things. What's important to Celine might be different from what's important to Alan. What's important to Alan might be different from what's important to me. And I mean, that's what makes us unique, but also that's what kind of sort of divides us as a people. And it's not a bad division, because I'm not gonna say, oh, well, I need to fall in line with what Celine wants and she needs to fall in line with what you want, Byron. But we have to come to a collective agreement that once we get what Celine wants, Celine is gonna push for us to get what Alan wants. Once Alan does that, they're both gonna come together and help me get me and go from there.
And that's my problem with those other groups, is because a vast majority of those people will be quiet during stuff like this. They'll be quiet. Like, you won't hear from them. You won't see them. You won't hear from them, and you don't see them. If they're not Black, or they don't have like Black people that they know, or they care, you won't hear from them. You won't see them. They're not
directly affected.
Yeah, they're not directly affected, so they're not pushing for us. Yet, you know what I'm saying? Yet we're so compassionate and caring. We're out pushing their stuff, you know, pushing for them and helping them win. Like, I gotta pull back. I gotta pull back from it. Like, I can't. I'm not going to get in your way. This is the best way I can say it. I'm not going to get in your way, but I'm not going to be pushing you to get it.
I think the best thing, we're not going to go out of the way to go push something for them. But if it comes in line to what we're doing, then we will do it. And it's like, if it's a, you know, and if it's like a blurb, you know, like if you have to say something,
like a win-win situation.
No, not even a win-win. It's like saying, it's like, you know, hey, like, can you do this for me, right? And it's like, if I'm going out of my way, if I'm going out of my way and to stop me for what I'm doing, then I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. But, you know, if it's along the way, if it's simple, easy, like a simple letter, like, you know, a catch, like a byline, you know, that's not taking me out of my way, it's not going to take away from what I need to do, then yeah, I could do that for you. I think we probably need to do more of that approach rather than let's drop what we're doing right now to go help you with this. And I think that's the main issue that we have. Like,
if my bill is $50 and I got $500 and you ask me for $20, I can, if I want to, I can lend you $20. But if my bill $50 and all I got is $50, you ain't getting $20.
Exactly.
Right.
But at the end of the day, bringing back around I'll kind of reference this. Honestly, LGBTQ community has come together and they're going to do what they need to do. Black people, whether LGBTQ or not, sorry, excuse the noise in the background. Whether LGBTQ or not, Black people in general just need to come together in order for us to get our agenda taken care of.
Yes.
It's not going to happen if there's no sort of unity at all. Like, we have to become a unit. If we're not a unit, it's pointless to have 10 different agendas when we can't even get one done. They say, don't spread yourself thin, jack of all trades, but master of none.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit there and have 10 different agendas going on at one time, and you can't get one done because everybody's spreading themselves thin. So I think, of course, it's not going to happen. Bring it back to the short-term, long-term goals. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen the next day, but we can set something. This is what we need to set for this year. This is what we need to set for this 6 months. This is what we need to set. Okay, if we don't get this goal set within the next 6 months, we can extend that 2 more months, and so on and so forth. But the simple fact of it all coming down to it is we need a plan. And in order to make a plan, we have to be a unit to make that plan. To me, short-term goals would be becoming a unit. That's the first and foremost thing that needs to happen. Regardless of what anybody else is saying, we need to become one before we try to spread a message out. We can't spread a message out if we are not on the same page on what the goal is, which is to get Black people to thrive again. So the short-term goal is to unify, which that comes from, we need to get in contact with our churches. We need to get in contact with our community leaders that we do have. We need to get in contact with, the corner store that we go to all the time, whether they Black or not. We need to get in contact with whoever is seen as a leader in each and every community and make sure that they come together to be able to spread what we need to happen in the Black community. Long-term goals to me would be, as I said before, policing the police. Make sure that we can get something done in order to be able to, when somebody getting pulled over, be able, you can put on your hazard lights before you even stop. Get to a place that you feel like, let's say it's nighttime and you in the middle of the highway. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not stopping in the middle of the highway and it's dark with a police officer. I'm going to turn my hazard lights on and I'm going to go to the nearest exit where I know people are at, because ain't no telling what in the hell you about to do in the middle of the night. That's just my take on it.
No, that's actually funny you say that. That's actually what I was taught. And that's the sad part about it, though, because it's what my mom taught me. And it's happened to me before. I've been pulled over pulled over on the highway. So I drove to the next exit into the nearest gas station, because I know the gas station has surveillance. And it's like the fact that we have to do that. So we have to go to a place where there's a third-party surveillance. And
that's the thing. Sad. That's the thing. It's sad, but guess what?
But it's a truth
live
that
to
we
survive
live in.
Another day.
Yeah.
I'd rather live to survive another day than take the chance of not. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, if I walk away from this, I beat somebody at something. But like I said, long-term goal is to police the police, get programs together in order for us to learn how to defend ourselves, to be able to learn how to use our amendments and our rights that we do have, to be able to eventually get to the point where we were as a Black community, as KJ said. Why can't we get back to where we were? Because we are worse than where we used to be. We used to thrive.
Because it's because, like we said, we unfortunately now we attack each other.
Yeah. And that's the problem. That's why I said short-term goal, unified.
Yeah. I guess. Okay. I guess I'll answer the question now. So based on what everybody said, short-term goals, definitely unify, spread awareness, kind of like what KJ said. Right now, we don't even need to get to leaders in the Black community. We just think it's all leaders in the community. Say, hey, and, find out if they're with us, against us, and the more stakes we pull out, at least we know for future reference. Also, education. I really do think education for Black people is deemed not important. And I'm not even talking about, you don't need to get straight A's in school. Even trades are a good thing, but knowing the process, kind of like what KJ said too, knowing about how elections work, who you're voting for, learn how to read a ballot, learn how to say, hey, what this person's agenda is and how it affects me. I think that for a lot of people, especially for me, for a while, it was over my head. And once it's over your head and you feel like it's not necessary, you're never going to do it. So then all you do is vote for your federal, like, Obama didn't do shit for me. Well, it's like, what did your person delegate who you voted for to report to Obama? What did he do? Oh, I didn't vote for him. Well, that's why Obama didn't hear your plea. That's why Donald Trump's in office and he doesn't give a damn about what you want. That's why, and people, they go back to Clinton and George W. Bush. That's why your directed area wasn't, it didn't benefit you. Long term, which it kind of goes upon everything. I want a position to put more people in leadership positions.
Mm-hmm.
So to feel that one, because it's twofold. One, to actually make a change, because then what they grew up with, what was important to them, will now be on the ballots, and changes could be made. And then it also shows that people can get up there to do that and make a difference. But I think if we put more of us in leadership positions, that's when we can actually start seeing more changes, which I really think that's what we need for long term. So then we are a part of the solution. We're not just preaching the solution, and it doesn't really matter. Because I think that is a huge thing. Because I just read an article too that the Air Force pretty much admitted that they're racist.
I remember that.
I read and I went, you surprised?
Yeah, but the thing is, but think about it now. But because we call him enlisted Jesus, he's in a position of power now. So now people are comfortable saying that this is an issue. Big people in Air Force are saying, hey, this is an issue, and we're working to fix it now. And maybe not fix it, but at least it is out there. We're the issue. So now we can say, now they can't say we don't know, because now big Air Force knows, and that's part of a way to create a solution, because now they can't hide behind the fact that, oh, I didn't know this. Well, it's like, no, your leadership said it. There's a whole report on it. This is an issue, and so and that's also part of getting the right people in power to get us, and not even power, just positions of leadership, even if it's a community leadership, senators, governors, mayors, congressmen, and that's the thing, chief of police, in positions of leadership. And then that could also go, and it also trickles down back to mentorship too. So, because I know a lot of things, young Black men are not mentored. And that was the biggest thing I realized when I got in the Air Force. I had one mentor, and it was like my first supervisor. And after that, I was not mentored at all. And it's a lot of times because no one connected with me because I was Black. And then it's kind of a weird effect, because then I wasn't mentored, and then I realized there's Black people coming to me wanting to get mentored, and that had to be like, oh shit. So one, I had to become a mentor. Yeah. But then I didn't know. Yeah, but I didn't know what was expected of me either too. So it kind of put them. But at least I was able to identify that. But there's no programs in effect to say, hey, guess what? We want you to grow into a leader. And maybe we need to put it out there. So it's like, hey, you're not just mentoring Black people, you're mentoring everybody. So people don't get their feelings hurt. Because that's the thing too. And now I feel like anytime you do something pro color, pro Black, even pro minority, people get offended, and it's like, no, it's not about that.
Hey, forget what people thinking. I got a name right now. Raising Our Black Men. Period.
Yeah.
Raising our Black men. Forget what they talking about.
Yeah, no, but exactly, but that's the one thing I have noticed. When I was in the South, when I was in LA, and even with PCS when I was across the country in the Air Force, that unfortunately, like you said, there's no mentorship or anything for young Black men. So like, unless you could dribble a ball, throw, catch a pass, and unfortunately, and we need to change that. Yeah, and I think that's the thing we need to change. Maybe that's what education could do, to say, hey, these are all the career paths for you. It's not only if you could do X, Y, or Z. You have the whole alphabet at your disposal.
Right. Like, bro, you can go pick up a trade right now and make good money, bro. Like, you got to throw that stuff out there. But that's the thing. They don't know. Like,
why can't we
college,
petition to get it in the school?
So I'm gonna jump in. I'm glad you said that. So that's a perfect segue. So I actually, in lieu of joining a fraternity or sorority in undergrad, I joined an all-male mentoring organization in undergrad. And that was one of the things that we pushed for is like, how I joined is that my freshman year, I was given a mentor the moment I stepped on campus at my HBCU. The day it was like, yo, bro, hit me. If you need a ride to the Walmart, yo, if we gonna drink, yo, we gonna party, yo, hit me up, bro, I got you. And my mentor, who's now my organization brother, stuck with me all 4 years. And even after so when it came time, like, oh, do I want to pledge? Do I want to do this? I was like, no, I want to be a mentor. And one of the biggest things we did is like, okay, well, we're mentoring here in our ecosystem and other organizations on campus, and there was one for women as well. We're mentoring our ecosystem, but what are we doing for the kids in this community? Because I don't know if you noticed that every HBCU, other than maybe Howard, is strategically placed in the ghetto or right next to a ghetto, or a low-income area. And so, so for me, it's like, okay, I have to go and I have to, while I'm here in school, I have to give back to these kids, because it's amazing that I pulled, I used to drive a Ford Focus, and these kids, oh, what you do, Mr. KJ? Do you rap? You play ball? Like, what do you, I'm like, no, bro, I'm in school and I go to work. And even now with I coach football, looking at my kids, and I'm like, bro, you can work at a university, or you can work a trade. You can go to the Air Force. You can go become a barber, and you can drive a Mustang. You don't have to be a rapper to have a nice car or have nice things in general. Exactly. And I'm so grateful that I have a regular career and I'm able to afford semi-nice things, so I can go to my kids and show them that this came from going to college. I ain't in the league. I got hurt. I'm not, I'm on nobody's TV. I'm not rich. I'm not famous. I got this because I went to school. I got a bachelor's degree. I got a master's degree. I did these things. And so I want you to follow in my footsteps.
Yes.
But going back really, really quickly, going back to Celine's point about, the movements and what we should prioritize in our short and long-term goals. And she said earlier in the podcast, where we got to stop seeking approval from people that don't give a fuck about us. And this is what happens when we give approval to people who don't give a fuck about us, is that we let them come in because we want to hear what they got to say. We want to hear their viewpoints. We want to hear them hear our pain, and we want to lash out at them, and we want to hold one white person accountable for all, however many are in the USA, and white people everywhere. And the first thing they do is, when they get in, is what Alan said, is they look out for other white people, say, hey, bro, look, I'm going to this this Black Lives Matter movement. Hey, bring your All Lives Matter t-shirt. Then us as Black people, we're so happy. Oh, this is my white ally. They come with All Lives Matter. CNN is like, oh, okay. Do I want to get a picture of these two Black men, one holding a Mexican flag because he might be part Hispanic, and a Black Lives Matter flag? Or do I want to get the two white people out of all these Black people, All Lives Matter? And I want that to take up 30 seconds of airtime? Then when you tune in, yeah, exactly. They change the narrative. And then when you tune in, you don't see Black Lives Matter. You see All Lives Matter. And then it feeds into social media, and then you get these backhanded racists that can come and say, well, I'm not racist because my two friends were at this, and oh, look, All Lives Matter. And now it's screenshots. Now it's a meme. Now it's something that's spread and shared on social media, and it whitewashes away everything that the protest or that movement at the time stood for. And then we do need to organize more effectively. We have a list of 10 things that we want to accomplish, and we all each here laid out, things that we believe, and they're all different from each other as expected. Now we need to figure out, even if it's amongst us, how do we put these things in order and put it together? Mm-hmm. And we have to be selfless to say, look, okay, you know what, that education piece, I didn't think about. That shit really is important, because you can't spread awareness if you're not educated yourself on all the information. Even though I want to have more conversations, I can't have conversations uneducated. Right. Because then all it is spread misinformation.
Exactly. To the education, I want to tip off on Alan's view. I definitely think a lot of it does start there. Just like they can teach trades, they can teach financial literacy, they can teach how to file taxes, they can teach how to be a business owner, they can teach whatever that they can teach whatever we want them to teach if we present it and push it forward to be taught to our children. Because right now, education to our young is only emotional. Because when I was in school, I was taught that I was Black, I was a slave, and I was nothing more than that.
Yeah. Slavery to civil rights.
Exactly. So what we need to do is make sure that our Black children are getting taught correctly, so they don't have the mindset of a slave. Because at the end of the day, the agenda to me for the public schools now is to get the kids at a young age to start with the slave mindset.
Prison to school pipeline. Or playground to prison pipeline. Go ahead.
So it's like, to me, just like you said, you get them by the mind first. You get them by the mind first. So if they're told this from the time they're in kindergarten to the day they're out of high school, for the past 12, 13 years, they've been getting told all they are is a slave. All they are is a slave. Like, that's all they were. So what you think that means? How many Black kids are going to walk out and actually think that they can be more than that?
Yep.
Or have a better mentality than that.
Right.
When that's all they've been taught. So mentorships, education, hell, do we need to create our own school? Add that to the pot. Yeah. Because at this point, it seems like we need to create our own everything all over again. They say we don't need to do segregation again. It's not about segregation. It's about taking care of our own.
Well, I think
what it's about.
Because
make sure I leave Umar out of that shit.
Yeah. Well, I know certain schools, they have programs, so I definitely want to know how they're able to have the programs that are for, because they actually have programs, curriculum, and everything for Black kids too. So and so I want to find out why isn't it that at every school? Because it's sad to say, I feel like schools with a higher pedigree that invite Black kids in do more at education and everything than the low-income schools that have the majority Black population, to integrate the kids, to educate them, to make them feel. And I think that's weird. So that's where we lose people too, because then they feel like that we're not supporting each other as well.
But but if you want to talk about those private schools, what's the number one factor in why those private schools have those programs? Because those parents that that make that money, that pay that tuition, they got their foot on them educators' necks. Like, look,
it's not even private schools. Because like out here, because even in LA, so I feel there's more schools in the Valley, which is a better area, not with the
right
like that too. They do more to integrate with minorities than the school than the freaking school in Watts, and that's where I'm like, what the hell? When I learned that, I'm like really?
But it's going to go to my point. It may not. Okay, so not even touching on private schools, but my point is that the reason why that happens is because the taxpayers, which we're not going to go down a rabbit hole of the system and subsidized housing and all that, but the taxpayers in that area, or the parents of that are paying the tuition, if we're talking about private schools, they have their foot on them educators' necks in them school board meetings, in them PTA meetings. Like, look, you're not going to teach my child about seeing a penis and a vagina until 6th, 7th grade. We're not going to talk about religion in school ever again. We're not going to discuss Shakespeare or whatever novels we don't feel as a collective are appropriate, even if they're, they're literary classics. that's why that happens. And then they push for like, well, my child is struggling here, so we need to do this. Like, prime example, do you remember, I don't know if y'all remember, but in New York City, where there was a prominent school in Lower Manhattan, and they started doing a lottery in school of choice, and every white parent and Becky and Karen, they were at the meeting, they were furious, they wanted to fire the principal, and the principal fired back and said, look, this isn't your anger is misplaced because we're giving kids from Watts or from Harlem or from the Bronx the same educational opportunities as the kids that live in Manhattan, and you're pissed off about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that goes to being present at town halls and like all those other things, because you miss when they go out and rezone these things, because what you miss is like, so you're like, everyone's aware of, oh, I live in Riverside County, or I live in Pulaski County, whatever it is. You know what your county that you live in is. What you don't know is your education zone is completely different.
Yes.
Completely different. And they set it up to where they make sure like this school gets this money from all these businesses, and then they'll have like a weird little dip or whatever to where it like annexes off all this other stuff where you can get all the little change from here, and we're going to take all this big money from over here, and then we're going to also have this mall, it's going to be putting money into this district, but when it's actually closer to that other school. But they're literally siphoning money away, and no one's paying attention to that. No one's calling it out. No one's actually there at that meeting saying, hey, I don't like this. This is not right. This is not right.
I'm not saying that people don't go to these meetings and call it out, because it definitely happens. But a lot of these people aren't, in our community specifically, a lot of these people aren't informed about what rezoning means. What about redistricting means? So it goes back to Alan's original point that the number one focus does need to be education, because when they rezone a district, which I've seen happen, or they do what's called school of choice, or in LA they do busing, you know, a lot of us in the city are like, oh, well, that shit don't impact me. It don't affect me. Look, and then meanwhile, you look at your school district where the revenue from Baldwin Hills Mall, Crenshaw, that went into your school district, now it's streaming further out into Beverly Hills and Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. But with that, I do have to go. So I am sorry about that one. I guess supporting Black businesses, I will just go touch quickly on that before I go. Anything with that one, it's also supporting them, but advertising too, because sometimes there's Black businesses and we have no idea where they are, who we're supporting, and pretty much where they are, who they're supporting, and what it means for the community. So I do think getting that word out too, and advertising that way, and just creating awareness. Right. But I'll let you guys talk on that. I have to go, but it was nice talking to all you guys. Nice meeting you guys.
Yeah, it was nice having you.
Nice meeting you as well.
Yeah, hopefully we get to do this again. And
KJ, for sure.
KJ and Celine, they're both on fire, so I have to study next time.
Right. I was like, oh man, I was like,
no man.
I need more and more notes.
Look, hey, man, you did your thing too, so hey.
Yeah, that's right. Like. No, that education piece, we definitely got to talk more about that, man. We definitely
for sure.
If you want to do something on that, I have stats. I'm more willing, at least for the LA area, I'm more than willing to bring it out. But like KJ said, rezoning, it's a big thing, because especially when they do it every year. And now the big thing is charter schools now too. So.
Yep.
All right. But have a good one, guys.
Nice to meet you. You have a good one as well.
All right.
Be safe.
You too.
All
right.
Boom. Man, dinner worth the week. No.
Look, my little one's been, as you can see, I've been having to pause and yell at a couple of them.
But one thing I do want to say about supporting Black businesses, though, and this shit bothers the hell out of me. We gotta support Black businesses without asking for a fucking discount.
Oh my God.
That shit blows me to no fucking end. Like, so my friend, a friend of mine on Twitter before I got kicked off, he started his own.
Got kicked off?
Yeah, so I got suspended. So fuck Twitter.
Why am I kind of not surprised?
No, so I got suspended from Twitter for saying Donald Trump is unhinged and shouldn't be running on this app, loose on this app without medication. And yeah, it was hate speech. But fuck all that. I said, yeah, anyway. A friend of mine started his own consulting business, and he was asking me something about an LLC or to set up something. So I Googled some shit and gave it like, yo, bro, this is what you do. He was like, yeah, man, you know, just let me know if you ever need some free consulting. I'll do it for free because you my man. I said, nah, bro, if you do it, charge me like you would charge anybody else. You know what I'm saying?
You.
And we talk about, we look at black-owned businesses, and I'll just use, like, my hoodie obviously came from a black-owned business, but we talk about them and like, well, why would I pay $25.99 for this hoodie, which is dope as fuck, when I can go down to Walmart and get the same hoodie for $12.99? You know, I'm saving money. But what I try to, and it goes back to education, which Alan brought up, we need to, and what Byron brought up about relationships, the reason why Walmart can sell you a $12.99 unapologetically black hoodie is because they have a relationship with mass production to where they're buying the hoodie for probably $2.99 a hoodie. Meanwhile, your homeboy that set up his own business has to go through, doesn't have the relationship with the warehouse. So he's buying the hoodie probably for, let's say, $20.99. And so he's really only making a $5 profit per hoodie. He's in business to make money. I don't know anyone that got in the business to lose money.
What about sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What about teaching them, or okay, so you know how Pepsi is its own company, but they sell Pepsi at Walmart?
Uh-huh.
What about teaching them to get that rack at Walmart? Why not teach them to get that rack at Target?
Well, that comes with another thing too, because with Walmart's taking a percentage of your profits. Walmart is dictating certain things about your business. Like, that deal with Walmart is not as like clean as you would think it would be as another retailer.
Right.
As another retailer. And you don't so granted, it's good to get your product in there, but you need to have your own storefront to where you're getting maximum profit, because they're going to end up cutting into your own bottom line, because they're going to set the price that they want to sell it for. You can't tell Walmart what to sell it for. They're like, nah, you're going to sell it to us for this, and this is what we're going to sell it for. And you're like, I'm only making 50 cents. Oh, well, we don't care. We're Walmart.
Right. If you don't want to do it, we got a long line of people who will take the deal because they want the exposure. Yep. Which goes into my next thing, is that Black creatives, if this is being recorded, I want this to be known at the end. Black creatives and consumers, please stop trying to minimize Black creative time because their work doesn't appear the way that you think it should appear. In other words, what I'm saying is, I would never tell a man how much money his or her time is worth. Ever.
Okay. For instance, I make wigs and I sell hair. I set my price myself. I'm not going to allow somebody to come in and say, you should make me a wig for such and such. Excuse me, there's a such thing as service to someone, as far as you're asking, supply and demand. You're asking, I have what you want, but you're trying to swindle your way out of what my time is worth. It don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I have what you want. If you want it, you're going to have to pay for it.
Right. And just because you, and even just because you pay a higher price of it for it, or even a lower price, does not mean the quality decreases based on your counterparts. Like even going back to Byron's point with, Walmart and these deals that are done, I'm pretty sure if there was a black business owner, or even in the, let's even go into hair care or the whole beauty supply monopoly that Asians have.
Exactly.
If you could get a cheaper price per unit on every sew-in or every piece of hair or every package of hair, you would definitely go for it. Like, there's no question. Everybody's here to maximize their profit. But the problem is you have certain business owners that don't want certain people in the game, and that they will purposely blackball them, like I've seen with these black women that try to open up these beauty supply stores. And even with black people in general who try to come into the medical marijuana dispensary game, these other white owners will purposely blackball them, like, nah, we can only have one, or they got to be somebody that ain't gonna come in and like kind of infringe on my territory, or I can get a cut of their pot.
Yep. And then on top of that, to hit on your point with them boxing people out, they will artificially drop their price and take a hit because they know they can. And then you will literally you won't be able to survive. They know you can't survive at that price. So they will do it long enough till you close down or your business slows down, and then they'll go back up in price. But it's too late for you by then. You're already in the hole.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think that it is fair, but that's where, just like all of our other points came in, we have to unify and make sure that when somebody trying to open a business in this spot in our neighborhood, that they can do it.
That's and it's funny you brought that up. It was gonna piggyback to another point with these I don't know, have y'all seen the late, they call it a scam, but I think it's some truth to it, but I'm not gonna participate. But where it's like, pay $50 and you get your name on a circle or a pyramid.
Yeah,
or
that
whatever.
circle scam.
That's egregious. It's a pyramid scheme. It don't work. It literally doesn't.
But this is where you're wrong, and this is gonna blow your mind. They do that in Africa, and it's called I forget the technical term for it, but you can look it up. And
I know what you're getting at. I know what you're getting at. But at the same time, like what they do with their savings account or whatever, like they're doing it to like put like get on, and like Asians do it and all that. Like they'll start a business with it, and they're bringing in outside money. The problem is you can't continue to put your own money into something, get out all this money, and then continue and then put your money back into that, because each person, every time that money goes in, it's going out to somebody. And you really need it to be organized in a structure to where you're starting a business with it or something to where you can bring outside money in. If your whole model requires more people to join, more people to put in, it does not work. It doesn't work. Now their method, because what they've done is they perverted it. Or whatever. Their method is you have those 8 people, they're chilling, and each person takes a turn going into the middle. It's that simple. It's that simple. What they did was with these circles is you'll have 1 person in the middle, 2 people on the outside, 4 people, and you have 8 people. That's too many hands. There's too many people.
Right.
There's too many people. So and it's constantly dependent on getting more people, because there's not enough people to go out. And when you have 2 people sitting at the top like that, it divides your group in half, and then you have to have more people in there to get out anything. So it's a pyramid scheme. They perverted it.
Okay, go ahead.
No, but where I was gonna go with it real quick is that, yes, I agree with the more people part, but the point is, going to Celine's point of making sure they're able to open up the businesses, is Asian people do this in their community all the time. They will let's say all 3 of us are in the Asian community. Celine owns her hair business and she's thriving. I say, you know what? I want to open up a tropical smoothie. Celine will loan me the money to open up the tropical smoothie. And when I'm thriving, Byron, you'll come along like, you know, I really want to open up a gym and a fitness studio. I loan you the money to open up your gym. Then you kick it back to me. I kick it back. Now all of our businesses are thriving. Then you might say, hey, my little brother wants to open a nail salon. Then he opens a nail salon. We put it in him. He gives it back, and and that's how they've been able to keep it. So I agree. So my whole statement about the money circles is that we need to do something like that with our people, and even people who we trust, because they're in. I mean, and that's what it really boils down to: fundamental trust.
The family.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you can trust family, and sometimes you can't. But we have to work with people who have like-minded interests and people we can trust. And there's so much mistrust that has been placed in our community that we're not even willing to be, like you said, we're not even willing to be first. Like, you know what? I'll loan you 10 racks, or I'll loan you 2 G's of startup money with the hopes that you'll kick it back because you might take it and run off on the plug. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that anybody here would do that, but just that fear of I might be out of 2,000.
And see, that's where doing things properly comes into place. Like, if you're going to start that business and people are going to give you the money, then you should be able to look at all those people that's giving you the money, hand them a document that says, this is my business plan. This is how I plan on doing it. This is how I plan on this is your return ROI that you can expect, because that's what regular businesses do when you have investors. And they're able to look at it and go, okay, so this is how I'm going to get it back. This is a legal document. It's binding. You have a notary. People sign it. They give you the money, boom. And now they're an investor in your business till the day that you give them back their money. They're like a co-owner. Then you give them back their money, and then you have your business. Then you reproduce that same mindset, that same thing. But you can't do it without paperwork and all that stuff. Like, people want that, I just shake your hand and everything's all good, but you don't have like paperwork lined out that actually says this is how you're doing it. Like, everybody has great ideas, but sometimes it needs refinement.
Exactly. I would even go as far as saying, like, let's set this as an example. I have it's my boyfriend's parents, me, him, and 2 kids. We're all in one house. So there's 2 cars. So if we all came together and we said, well, we want a 3rd car. If we all came together and say, okay, you got a car already. Let's put this person in. Let's make sure that Celine get a car this year. This year we're gonna work on Celine getting a car. Celine gets her car. It's paid for. We put our money together, got Celine a car. Okay, next year, let's say my kids was old enough to have a car. Kaysen gets a car. Okay, and then the next year, Cannon gets a car. The whole point of me saying that is people don't never want to wait their turn. People want to do it right then and there. They see Celine getting hers and think, oh, I need to get mine right now too. And that's the wrong mentality. We have to do it one person at a time. And that's exactly how us as a community needs to look at it. One person at a time. Getting 2 people, one person at a time. Because at the end of the day, if we all try to do it at once, not everybody can be a chief.
Too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Boy,
that's how it goes. Not everybody can be a chief. So in the sense of we need to, because that's what the Asians do. That's what Mexicans do. That's what, you know what I'm saying? They are in one household. They say, it's your turn to throw. Matter of fact, perfect example. We get our lawn cut. One day, it was 4 people with 1 truck, and they going around doing lawns and stuff together. Next thing you know, it's 4 people with 2 trucks. They going around doing lawns. Next thing you know, it's 4 people with 3 trucks, and they going around doing lawns. Next thing you know, everybody got their own truck, and then they got 4 more. They got 3 other people with them, and it keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, everybody gets theirs because they wait their turn. But we have a selfish mentality to, I want to get mine before you get yours. I'm going to do whatever I can to get mine before yours, even if that means diminishing what you got.
Right.
And we as Black people, I mean, hey, I don't think that we should just be all into being responsible. Maybe that's not the right word. Like, I'm not responsible for your household and I'm not responsible for your household. But if we all have the same idea and want to move forward, we each need to be responsible for our own household to get to the goal that we need to get to, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I think a lot of people are afraid of also afraid of sharing something. Like if you guys have a good idea, right? 4 people have the same exact good idea. The startup cost, let's say the startup cost for that business is $1,000. So now each person now is gonna pay $1,000 a piece. That's $4,000. If y'all put it in together and then y'all start together on it, and then afterward, after you grow your client base and stuff, like, okay, you get the South region, you get the Western region, you get the North, and so will get the East or whatever. And then y'all 4 can go y'all separate ways, and y'all can still thrive. Y'all can all still thrive without having to be, feel like, what I'm saying? Like, I guess risk all that money, because what's going to happen is y'all all going to be competing and somebody's going to fail then.
Exactly.
So
I think about it like Walmart didn't open all at the same time. It started with one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny that you brought that up, Byron, because when you jumped on here, and I guess this might be the creative person in me, and you were like, oh yeah, this is the name of my podcast. I haven't come up with a name for it. The first thing I started doing in my mind was, damn, like, what can we call this podcast? Like, I was like, okay, I'm thinking like, okay, don't want to be cliche. Like, I don't know your vision for it. And then instantly I'm like, okay, how can I help be a part of the podcast? Like, us 4, we could rock every Saturday and do it, if we do it through Zoom or whatever, or every Sunday or however you want to do it. Like, my mind started going to different places. And in a separate time, I'd be like, yo, bro, these are the names I came up, like highly debatable, seriously questionable, like, just shit that bounces off the head. But if I was a selfish person, I'd be like, you know what? All right, cool. Byron did this on these topics. Like, maybe I should take this shit for myself, and maybe I should do my own thing, and maybe I should just, like, unfriend him and block, whatever, and just take it and run with it. But I always no, like on some, like keeping it 100. Like,
no, for real though. I feel that.
My mind before I started this.
No, but
damn, somebody gonna.
No, but see, like on the real though, like. I've always been because I do consulting. I do freelance consulting. So, and I'm always of the mind. And I used to do PR in the past. I used to do PR for a living. And I've always been of the mind. What's for me won't pass me. Me shining my light. Me helping you shine your light won't dim my own light.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And even if I don't get credit, like, even if you take, I'll give you a name and you take the shit and we not even cool anymore. Like, it is what it is. Like, if you put out good in the universe, it's going to come back around to you some way, somehow, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying?
The problem is not everybody think like that.
Right. And that's what we really got. And that's what we as a people, we really have to get away from. Like you said, everybody want to be now. Like, it's not right now. Like, now is not your turn. And it comes with maturity, and it comes with, sharing. Like, I have 8 sisters, so I'm used to sharing. Like, I gotta share. Like, I don't have a choice. Like, I mean, I gotta share eventually. Like,
right.
It is what it is.
I don't know how I turned out like this because I'm an only child.
Yeah,
but
yeah, to speak on it, like, cause see, that was something I thought of too, but I was like, you know what? I don't even know their mindsets. I don't even know how they are really. Like, I'm gonna let this thing just exist for a minute, and then I'll get with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, going, hey, y'all want to like make this like a thing, and it's like our thing, But I was like, I didn't want to jump out the window with that. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you don't know where everybody's head is at.
You got to see where it go first.
Yep.
Right. You do.
Because this could have been a train wreck, and everybody just could have been yelling at each other.
Hey, that's why I was like, hey, look here. I ain't trying to get cussed out. I ain't trying to get my name called. I ain't trying to look.
Hey man, when she came,
disagree. I don't want this to be no shouted match. Look here, when she came with it, state my points, and if you agree with it, that's cool. If you don't, fine with that too. But
when you came with it, I was like, what the fuck? What is she gonna say that's so wild? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit, I'm gonna listen. I was waiting. I was like, I know she's not gonna say. As long as you're not a Trump supporter, I was like, hope she don't say nothing too crazy.
The thing is, it's not about me. I wouldn't call myself a Trump supporter. I call myself a fact supporter. So I agree with it if it's a fact, regardless of whose mouth it's coming from. And I disagree with it if it's not a fact.
Stop.
If I just don't agree with it, even if it is a fact, and I don't agree with it, then I just don't agree with it. But to me, I don't have to like anybody. I don't have to be friends with anybody to agree with what they say or do. But I also don't have to, I've never been one person to go with the crowd, and never will be one person to go with the crowd, because one thing about it is when everybody looking left, something happening to the right. And it just so happened to be pulling strings that is making everybody to the left look over at whatever they're looking at. So it's like I said, the reason why I went there with it is because you have no idea how many times people have inboxed me. First of all, people don't think I'm black. A lot of people don't think that I'm black.
Your page is wild. Like your comment section, people be at your neck. I was like, I couldn't do it.
Like, a lot of people don't even think that I'm black. A lot of people think that I'm white or not all the way black or whatever. But the thing is, like, I say whatever I want. I'm not going to sit here and just say something because I think people gonna like it. I say it because I feel like it's something that we need to hear. Honestly, I don't do the pleasing thing that everybody wants to hear. I don't do sugars and cookies and stuff. I do salt. And it's gonna be salty. It's gonna sting. It's gonna burn because it's still an open wound at the end of the day. So it's just about what your pain tolerance is.
I mean,
at that point, I ain't got no control over that.
I mean, for me, like when it comes to like discussions about this, like my first thing is that I don't expect everyone to ever have the same level of emotional intelligence I do. And I'm not going to ever have that expectation, because having that expectation, you always get let down. The second thing is that you, at some point, got to be mature enough to separate the message from the messenger. And I've been in discussions, and I don't even really do Facebook talking anymore or social media in general, because I always say the comment section of any social media post has the biggest number of idiots. You got a bunch of people that just want to fire some shit off their chest. You have your undercover racists who hide behind a keyboard. You know, you have your woke hotep people who are my brother and my sister you to death. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. Like, if you say something, if I comment on something and you fire something back, I'm like, okay. Because what can you say to that? You know, okay, you pissed off and I'm a bitch ass motherfucker. Okay. You fucking cocksucker. Okay, like, what do you?
But guess what?
When
I said a fact, you didn't come with nothing back. So except cussing me out. So it's like,
y'all making my editing job really hard. Like, I'm just throwing this out there. So I'm making the editing job really hard.
No, so okay,
no, I'm just playing.
No, like, so this is funny though, right? So
because I'm like, fuck.
So this is real funny though. So I got into this debate with, I have a Middle Eastern friend of mine who lives in Houston. He posted like the Black Lives Matter hashtag. It was like a picture. And so then this jackass gets on the post and he says something about basically we have to stop looking at people for their race, and look at people for their physical characteristics or something like that. And so I commented, and I'm like, bro, first of all, your statement is a contradiction, because you can't not classify me as my race. You cannot classify me as a black person, I mean, as an African American, but my black skin is still going to be the first thing that you notice. So that right there in itself is a contradiction. And then the comment went to, but we need to, you know, one race, the human race, and all that other shit. And I'm like, okay, I feel you, bro, but your statement like that is actually dividing of the movement. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm not willing to engage with you if you can't admit two fundamental things. And this is what I go through with all white people. I'm like, we're not going to be able to engage in intellectual debate. And if you really want to seek the knowledge that you claim you do, or you want me to teach you something, if you can't admit two things. One, that you benefit inherently, I mean, you benefit directly or indirectly from white privilege. Two, you believe that the fundamental of racism, white supremacy exists in America. If you can't answer yes to those two things, we don't got shit to talk about.
That's.
Do you think that we answer to white supremacy too? How can I word this? Do you think that we look at white supremacy too hard, as far as, I don't know how to word this.
Okay, so
do you think we look at it at a point of that it's a hindrance to us, like, how can can we make them not matter? Basically, that's what I'm trying to say.
I think I know where you're going. I'm gonna try and like rephrase what you just said. I'm gonna try, and you tell me if I'm on point. Mm-hmm. What you're trying to say is Black people are so focused on blaming white supremacy that we can't see the steps that we can take outside of it to make ourselves better.
That's what I'm trying to say. Why look at that and say that's stopping us from doing something?
Because I have a friend. Go ahead. Friend. He's a coworker. And basically, I told him this. I said, I'm like, sometimes you don't have to run into the obstacle. Sometimes you don't have to run into the wall. You don't have to. Mm-hmm. It might take you longer, but you could go around. You could build over it. There's a lot of other things you can do besides punching your way through that wall. And if you don't have the right tools, you're never going to get through that wall. Mm-hmm. Depending on how it's built, you won't get through. You know, you might be able to punch your way into a straw house. You might be able to push through a wooden structure, but if it's made of brick and mortar, you're not breaking in without the right tools.
Boom. So I'm glad you said that. So looking at that question, and I mean this, so when I was in school, I minored in sociology, and I'm so grateful that I did. I look at racism, white supremacy, not in the Hotepi way that people was like, oh, the cracker, the white man trying to keep me down, and all this other bullshit that drunks on the corner spit to you. I look at it for what it is, a fundamental belief and a system that is based and thrive to benefit to benefit rich white men solely. It's not benefited for white women. It's not benefited for Asians and even Black people that get up there and they make money and they want to be. It was created and solely benefit for rich white men. If we're talking specifically about America, if you want to go back to England and Europe and post-medieval times, it was benefit solely on the ruling class. So, and who are the ruling class? It depends on what's ruling. Are we looking at property? Are we looking at structure? Are we looking at money? But are we looking at the monarchy like what we have in England, in present-day England? So even if we just want to take, I'm not even going to go back to preach the back lesson, but even with where we are in America, you have to have the right tools to break down the system. Yes, but I do not believe that unless you break down this fundamental system of racism, white supremacy, whether it's by tactics, whether it's by getting the education whether it's by opening the door and bringing in more people behind, whether it's breaking down the fundamental rules and laws that have held us back from, housing segregation from when our parents were alive, whether it's, cutting your beard now or your locks, or you're changing your hairstyles for a job interview, whether it's school discrimination, whether it's racial disparity and going to get a small business. We have found those systems in order to come in and do what we need to do for us as a people. Because even when we were thriving as owning our own Black Wall Street and having our own Black Wall Street, and even before and after Reconstruction, there were still, Black codes, if you will, put in place for us not to thrive. There was still laws for getting business loans and getting, sharecropping and things that were put in place for us not to thrive. And so until we break those things down, which are part of the umbrella of racism, white supremacy, we won't get anywhere. And it's going to take a lot of doing, because remember, they built this shit for 400 years.
Mind you, but the thing is, back then, like now we have, to me, way more opportunity than we had then. And we have access to a lot more information than they had then. So we have to make it accessible to, that brings back to education. We have to make it accessible. We have to make sure they know that when they need to know this, or when they need to do this, they can. And how do I say that they can't, basically that they can do it regardless, with or without a white person, because Black people have their back. Right. Me personally, don't think that white people should shape us in any way, form, or fashion, because I believe that we can do it ourselves.
I agree.
Them.
I agree.
As we've said it before, but it's just, we have to, the mindset at the end of the day, it all come back down to education. The mindset, we got to get it before they do at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because they will teach supremacy to me as a scare tactic. We have power over you. And that's what we're taught.
Yeah. And we're taught to, and what we got to stop teaching our kids, and I've been so guilty, I've been so guilty of it in my lifetime. We got to start teaching our kids to conform to Eurocentric standards. And that means hair, dress, how we talk. Obviously, you can't go into a business cussing and using profanity, but everybody here probably has a white voice. Everybody, my shit is A1. And it took my business mentor, bro, why you change your voice, my nigga? Talk how you talk. They're gonna know you're if they know you're Black or not, it makes no difference. Talk how you talk. Don't change. And we have to stop teaching our kids conform to these standards just to fit in. Because you said it, Celine, why are we trying to seek approval from a racist?
I'm sorry. My kid just,
he threw up?
Yo.
No, but
oh.
Yeah.
We understand.
Yeah, we
You gotta call us back.
He got me speechless right now. Literally. How? Let me.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to. Okay.
Just click the link again. Just click the link again, and I'll be back. We'll come right back in.
I'll be back.
Okay. All right. So
then there were two.
Yeah. Now there's two. And
I
think so. Before, this is a sidebar. I think what the idea to me, for calling this, I kind of wanted to call it something like the rotation, because I want to have a solid panel that's normal, right? You have your regulars that you're used to. But then I want to bring in, like, that's why I said 5 to 7 people, because that extra 3 seats are for other people. You know, I want to have a base, and then those extra 3 seats are for other people. So other people can chime in and other people can feel like they're represented. And then it prevents stagnation on our part, because then we're getting new ideas in as well. And the podcast always seems fresh every time.
Well, there you go. I mean, hey, bro, if that's what you want to do, man, like I said, however I can help. I mean, I've been thinking about putting together a podcast of my own even before this came up, but I just never knew, like, where do I want to start? So it's like when people like, yo, do you want to do discussion here, do a discussion there, Facebook Live it, Instagram, like I'm always with it. So, I mean, however you put it together, bro, just count me in.
Yeah. Because I have a mic that I'm not using right now just because it doesn't fit the scenario. It just looks crazy. Like if I'm like also one-on-one like myself, then I probably will have the mic stand set up and all that so I can record, like have crystal clear like that. But this, I wanted to have like more of a conversation.
Yeah, no, this was cool. To me, it was cool. Like it was organized and it was uniform. Like I've been in Zooms and chats like this where it's like 500 people and only 3 people are talking and like the other 497 people are listening. And I'm like, well, what the fuck did I sign up for? I didn't sign up to be talked at. Like, I want to be heard because sometimes, like you said, like if it's a point that's made, you might disagree with the point that's being made. You might agree with it. You might want to chime in and bring up something new. Like you said, fresh ideas. And I know I can go on a tangent. And I know, like, you know, with other people, like, that's why I had to, like, discipline. Like, I had to take my shit, like, look, bro, write down notes, like, come back to it. Like, that's just the second page. Like, this is the first page. Like, bro, like, come back to it, like, write it down. Because, you know, you can't have people cutting each other off, too.
Right. And then another thing that I thought of doing is because we can have more people in the chat room and watching it live and actually chatting on here. So then it gives it kind of like an IG live format. And we kind of read their comments, when people join, I can turn off your audio and your video, and I can make you just a bot. I can literally make you a bot since I'm and I have that business stuff. So eventually I want to get there too, because it allows more engagement, because the more engagement you have, the more people are constantly like watching. Because then some people are literally like, they'll listen and they'll be like looking at chat stuff, and then they'll be wanting to fire off their little opinion pieces in the chat. You know, and we can have a set number of slots for that. Like, hey, you want to be in the chat? You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I'm saying? Log in, blah, 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 blah. Boom, I'll put you in the chat. Oh, my God, man. They are going off on this thing for work. But anyway, to go back to the topic at hand and what we were talking about with, what exactly were we saying? We were saying something about sharing businesses.
We talked. The topic was supporting small businesses.
It's supporting black businesses and things. And I think the main thing, another big thing, I just really want to hammer home is like, we are more than entertainment. We are more than entertainers. We're more than entertainment. We are more than that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel like a lot of people feel like they get really boxed into that mindset. Like, and I've met a lot of people like, so when I do like when I used to do Lyft on the side or whatever, I've met a lot of people, and I met a lot of different brothers, you know what I'm saying, from different walks of life, you know, and like he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I own this, you know, advertising business, blah, 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 blah. We're doing this with these companies or whatever, and I go to these meetings or whatever, and he was just like putting me on game, like he was just firing off massive, just like amounts of knowledge, and I'm just like, man, I'm like, bro, I wish I wasn't dropping. I had pencil and paper. I'm like, because you saying like way too much good stuff, you know. And he was like, man, he's like, what you need. He said something like, what you need to remember, you gonna remember. You know what I'm saying? Like what really sticks with you, gonna stick with you. You know, and the stuff you can use, you're gonna use, and whatever you don't use, you know what I'm saying, just, you know what I'm saying, just hold on, just try and hold on to it. But that's a side note. But like, I just feel like people aren't being shown that, you know what I'm saying, which hammers back to your point, like being shown that you can be more than just that. Like, cause you brought it up, you can be more than that. Like, I really like wholeheartedly want people to know you can be more than just an entertainer. Like, cause like everybody and their mama is trying to rap, and I'm just like, bro, like,
let that shit go, man.
Some of y'all just ain't it. You ain't it. You don't have it, and you will never be it. Like, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not even making your music to compete with the. You have to make your music on a level to where if somebody listens to it, they would want to listen to you. Unfortunately, you gotta look at it this way: like over a Drake, over a Kendrick, over a J. Cole, over an NBA YoungBoy, over a Future. Like, you have to make your music that good to where somebody actually wants to go, you know, I'm gonna go cut on so and so today, because that's how you're gonna make money. That's how the streaming era works. Your quality needs to be good to where people want to listen to it. Yeah. Because, like, if you take like recent new artists that's like doing just astronomical. Like freaking Roddy Ricch, like his music is that good,
right?
You know what I'm saying? He's putting that level of effort. Like, people too busy trying to be the best in their city, you know. But that's just that point.
You right, bro. But I don't want to cut the short. I gotta walk my dog before she pee in my.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, man. I'm gonna stop the recording right here. If y'all want to jump back on and talk about some other points, we can. We got time. I'm just going to separate this video out and try and, like, edit and cut it down and put it out in a timely section.
Yeah, definitely. You might want to make this joint like 30 minutes. I don't know how you're going to do it.
No, but here's the thing. So what I've seen that works, because I follow Joe Budden's podcast, you release the whole thing still. In its entirety. Okay. Then you cut it out into chunks or whatever for each topic. Like, this is us talking about this. 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 So then people can isolate, but also watch in full entirety.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, yeah, bro. Let me. I'll be back in like 20, 30 minutes. So.
All right. Yeah, that's cool.
On Facebook.
Yeah, just hit up the group chat.